Come on, come on, come on.
We're coming.
It's gonna be dark soon.
I know.
Trapped in Fromville nightmares, roam haunted by dark visions. Jade sees echoes from past wicked days. Telephone rings, ghostly whispers, dungeons so shattered and fractured. Madness creeps in shadows, turning memories to nightmares in the daylight. Seem a secret hidden, wound carries mystery, miracle, cursed tale, deep shrouded in history. Victor's mind slips past the veins, grasp shadows dark, gotta unearth lost parts before engulfed by darkness.
But what if someone finds her someday and they don't know who she is because all they find is bones?
Stop! God damn it! Stop!
Winter's grip tight in his cold breath, doom and gloom. Decay's jerks echoing, Randall's mind they consume. No place to hide in this town, trapped in the cursed fairy tale. Fight or fall through the night, darkness writing the doom. Jade's eyes wide, tears drip, poison brew of the past. In haunted Fromville, sanity never lasts. Telephones, demon chant, Jim's spine shivers clash. Phantoms haunting steps, memories smash. The demon's belly swell, enigma or dark twist. Future dim, shadow fall, fate tightens mist. Victor searches mind's maze, battle memories missed. Before blackness drowns, lose or persist. Winter's grip tight in his cold breath, doom and gloom. Decay's jerks echoing, Randall's mind they consume. No place to hide in this town, trapped in the cursed fairy tale. Fight or fall through the night, darkness writing the doom. Jade's eyes wide, fears drip. Poison brew of the past, and haunted from sanity never lasts. Telephones, demon chant, Jim's spine shivers clash. Phantoms haunting steps, memories smash.
Christy! Hey, come on, get off her!
Jade's eyes wide, fears drip. Poison brew of the past, in haunted Fromville, sanity never lasts. Telephones, demon chant, Jim's spine shivers clash. Phantoms haunting steps, memories smash.
Great. Let's just walk right past the scary voodoo tower and go sort some veggies.
And welcome everybody to our Fromville Content Creator Roundtable discussion, where we're going to discuss this week's episode, Mousetrap. So welcome everyone on the panel. We have Spade from Parkland Media with us, Lord Ravener, and of course my bestie Dana Marie. How are you guys doing tonight?
Great.
Yeah, I can't complain, man.
Y'all pouring like all-nighters and stuff, right? You guys are just like killing it out there, man.
Yeah. A lot of logging in a lot of time with From, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. At least it's a good show to put some time into.
Yeah. Well, you got to know this stuff because the chat will hold you to account. If you don't remember, if you don't memorize every scene, you're like, "Oh, you idiot! The pot holder was blue, not aquamarine." Oh shit. Okay.
I know, right? Or you thought like one scene happened before the other one. No, it happened then. My bad. Okay, I'm sorry. It was just a little off. I'm sorry. The tooth came out first and then the mirror, not the mirror. My bad. Yeah, it gets a little touchy sometimes. You got to be real in your game. But yes, welcome everybody. We're going to say hey to all you guys in the chat, and then we are going to get into this episode and see what everybody thinks, because it was a good one. I liked it. Not quite as high as the first two, but still, I still put it up there pretty high. But we're going. What do you guys
I
think?
know. I think I rated it way higher than some people. I don't know. I thought we got some good goodies in this episode, but I could see why people thought it wasn't as big of a banger as the first two.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I rated it pretty low. Low. I think 6. I was already on record giving it a 6 in the Discord voice chat, so I stuck with that. But I probably would have. I kind of talked myself into a 7 by the time we finished last night's review, or the after show rewatch thing. It was kind of a placeholder. It did move the plot along in the with the plot lines that needed to be moved forward. It was just the acting, man. The acting kind of got me. They were a little bit extra. Everybody's yelling at everybody, and I get everybody's feeling the stress and everything, but man, they went from 0 to 10 in a blink of an eye every time. It's like yelling and smashing shit and throwing stuff around. I'm like, okay, maybe I just didn't. I found it less relatable because it takes a certain point for me to start throwing dishes and shit.
Admit it. It was the hurting of the crow, the hurting of the raven that actually got to you.
Oh yeah, that was brutal.
That was
Poor
a
guy.
war crime. Yeah,
Dude, he like slapped him, right? Dude knocked the shit out of the crow.
Poor bird.
Like he just like sucker punched him into the wall. Crap.
I felt so bad for the bird.
I know. Somebody freeze frame that guy too. I'm gonna put his ass on a wanted poster.
I think I even have the screenshot. Hang on, let me get my screen. Actually, we're gonna say hey to the chat first, and then I think I got the screenshot to that, and we're gonna get into it. And yes, the professor. Yes, we created the song on an AI program, and we're going to use the same program to create a song with all of you guys in the Fromville. So tonight, I will at some point put a poll in the chat with a few song titles. So we're going to try to pick a song title tonight amongst all the other conversations. And then as the weeks go on through we'll try to kind of work something out with everybody and get some lyrics, look at the music, and show you guys how the program works. So if you would like to use it, you could too. Because it's free initially, and then the cost is only I think it was like $10 a month to be able to have like more space and stuff like that. So it's actually really not a bad program. It's what I've been using to do my music lately, and you guys seem to like it, so we're gonna share it with you all. But yes, let's see who else we got with us tonight. Scroll all the way back up, and I saw Miss Kiwi Skirt, the most awesome Miss Kiwi Skirt ever, hanging out with us. She was first in the chat as always. We love some Kiwi Skirt.
No, love you, Miss
Let's
Kiwi.
see, who else do we got? We got Golden Child hanging out with us tonight. I see the Grumbledore. What is up? Always good to see you. I see Bitey, as always, hanging out with us tonight. And Woodrow Nichols. Good to see you, hun. Let's see who else we got. We got AP hanging out with us in the house. What is up? What's up? Let's see. Parkland Media's hanging out with us, of course. Let's see who else. I see Johnny Utah. What is up, my friend? Glad to see you hanging with us tonight. We got Shadow Skull. Always nice to see you in the chat. Wolverine Fan 98. What is up? What is up? We got Daryl Seymour. I'm sorry. Get my words all mixed up. Welcome to you tonight. Hope you are having an awesome Monday night and the start to your week. We got the awesome Robert Sanders hanging out with us. What's up? See who else we got. Keep scrolling down. I see Miss Delcenia, one of our other awesome mods, hanging out in the chat with us tonight. And what is up to the professor? Sorry, we keep going down. I'm just so excited to talk about this episode.
I know, so am I. I can't wait. And I know Anthony's going to be joining us from the movie blog as soon as he wraps up his stream. Mm-hmm. And probably at some point later, Jeremy's going to be joining us, and we're going to have a full panel. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. And I see Wild Majorum hanging out with us tonight. Welcome, hun. I see Breezy K. Welcome, welcome. See, I see Chocolate Beauty. What's up, honey? Glad to see you hanging out with us tonight.
Yes, I hope you're all recovered and feeling better, my darling.
Yes, indeed. I see Baby Clay Media and Reactions in the chat hanging with us tonight. Let me see. Did I get everybody? I think maybe we're caught up. And if I missed somebody, I'm terribly sorry. Oh, I see Sweet Pea. What is up, hon? And there's Miss Vic. I see you hanging out. And I think we are caught up. Awesome, guys. So, yeah, we're going to get ready to dive into this episode. So, let's see. Where do we start, Miss Data? I know you got the questions.
Yes, I do. Well, we'll start with an easy one while we wait for the rest of the panel to kind of stroll in, and we'll just kind of get your take on what was your favorite moment from this last episode, if you had one, because I know there was some mixed reviews on this episode. But we'll start with you, Parkland. What did you think of this last episode? What was your favorite moment?
Favorite moment, I would say Jade freaking out and then seeing the guy impaled to the tree by his eye. To me, what I took away from that is, in addition to those stones that look like they were used to sacrifice people,
Ooh.
I think that was somewhat a foretelling or foreshadowing that Jade is going to maybe sacrifice his eye like Odin. And that's the reason why the guy was impaled to the tree. And then in the next scene, what I further liked about that whole scene with all of them and the Christy with her foot in the bear trap is the guy, the pilgrim, he had the skull cap with the blood and he drunk it, which is kind of like associated with communion. I don't know if you all have ever been to church before. Not trying to insult your intelligence, but like in church, yep. when I was growing up in the church, they had a thing where it was you drink from the blood of Jesus and eat the body, which is like, wine and crackers. So it was interesting to see him do that communion. And then he offered it to Jade as to say, you drink this, you're going to get like knowledge and power. And I think that's kind of
blood. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's where Jade's storyline is going, to where he wants all these answers. He can't get it on his own with his own mindset. He's going to have to possibly sacrifice his eye, like the guy on the tree. And perhaps drink blood to be able to get knowledge, to get the answers to the questions and stuff. So that was my favorite scene of the entire episode.
Interesting. That's an interesting take. I have yet to hear somebody compare it to something like that. That's
pretty cool. Yeah, and I like how you're saying, because he kind of offers it up to Jade, like, take part in this. So yeah, that was really cool. Real quick before we get to Raveners, I just want to say to the professor, man, stay safe out there with the weather, and everybody out there who has dealt with any of the storms that have passed and the one that is currently on its way. Stay safe out there, guys, and our prayers and thoughts are with you. Yep. I know it's a tough little end of the season, hurricane season. It's been tough down here.
We have some friends out in Florida that we're wishing the best for and hoping to stay safe. And this is going to be a rough one. So Florida needs to just be safe. This hurricane's a big one.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so what about you, Ravener? What was your favorite moment of the episode?
Well, that was a good thing that Parkland keyed in on, because if the dude was just drinking the blood out of the skull, that would have been a nice creepy scene. He's spilling blood all over down the front of him, creepy, scary. Oh my gosh! But yeah, the offering of it forward does kind of cross the line over into like an analog to communion. So yeah, it definitely seemed like an invitation to partake, and we've seen it in what was it? The Indiana Jones, The Last Crusade. You drink from the cup. They drink from a pool, like the Fountain of Youth. There's always some element of drinking, of acquiring this knowledge, or taking that, doing something proactively to take that next step to get the knowledge that you need, to unravel the mystery. Personally, mine was Kenny continuing. I like Kenny. On the surface, it looked like he was just being a jerk to everybody, cracking the whip, being mean, why don't you guys get to work, all this stuff. But I thought it was funny that they sent Christy out there as a thirst trap, because everybody had to have been aware that he was you know, that she kind of had him wrapped around her finger, you know, and he was just the lovesick puppy.
Yeah.
So they probably send her out there to kind of calm him down or whatever. I don't think it was purely in the clinical sense of being a counselor or whatever. And he was just, is your bag full? He's like, you're over here talking to me. Your bag ain't full, right? I was like, okay, that's all right, and I get it. I definitely empathize. He was probably the most sympathetic character for me, in that sometimes you just want to focus on the task at hand. You don't need people, you want to talk it out, bro? No, I really don't. I just want to do what I'm doing. I got a task here. Let's just focus on the task. Oh, if you need to talk, if you want to hug, nope, I don't want to talk, and I don't want to hug. I want to pick these berries and fill this thing. And the side effect was, it was something that they needed to do anyway. It was something that was, absolutely good for the town. It wasn't something that he was just. Now Jade scribbling in his book, that was a distraction, and that was not serving the greater good. Kenny picking berries, and those guys loading up cabbages into the backpacks and stuff. Those guys were, even if it's a mundane, brainless task, they're doing something that everybody needed to do. You need to get these veggies from point A to point B for the greater good. So I did like Kenny's single-mindedness towards his one task, and if that's his form of therapy, if that's his form of coping, or if that's his form of putting off grieving, until he could address it at his own pace, and he's just literally just occupying his mind with the task. Good for him too. I liked it. So I liked Kenny's his single-mindedness in this episode.
I really don't think Christy drew a short straw.
Well, like Dale said, it's rigged. Just like Donna said, their game is rigged. It's always rigged.
Why do I have a feeling Christy was not one of the people who drew that short straw? Because she's a valuable asset, right? Like she's the doctor in town. Yeah, you have Mari, but Mari's going through all that she's going through. To send her off with them, I found a little odd. Was it just me? I just felt like she was very out of place being one of the people chosen to go do the vegetable thing.
Well, she was there to watch Kenny.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm agreeing with Raver that I think she was there to babysit.
Yeah.
Like she wasn't there to just.
Yeah. I mean, because that's the way that Donna made it sound. She was out there to watch him or make sure he didn't go crazy.
Pretty much. What about you, Scarlett? What was your favorite moment of the episode?
Oh, I definitely liked, probably similar to Spade, Parkland, because, and I'm sorry I didn't bring those screenshots up when you were talking about it. I'm off my game, but yeah, this was just because I remember when we watched the trailer, there was a lot of discussion about whether it was a vision or if it was real. I'm not gonna lie, man, I was totally hoping it was going to be real and that we were gonna find some people at this little encampment. But the fact that he had that much of a vision, and then I like how it shows, again, we're seeing the visions, but they're not just visions. You kind of see Jade still freaking out with our dude in the background, Dale. So he's still getting all messed up. So it's just weird how they're really portraying these things and what everybody can see and can't see. And the stones were so interesting, like you were saying, man. Just everything about this scene was. It's like it was giving us something without telling it to us again. And I loved it because I think that dude is another one of the chosen, just like Jade. And he's kind of just showing him what would happen if he fails. Or it's going to be that's if Jade's for the good side. If he's for the bad side, then he's definitely trying to say, hey, look, because we saw the blood on Christopher with the book coming down. We saw the blood on the tree coming down. Now he's drinking the blood from the skull as it pours down his, body. So yeah, there's something in that. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I do like that scene a lot.
Just to kind of, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just to kind of chime in. So when I used to go to church, people would get the Holy Ghost, and it was a weird thing. And people who got the Holy Ghost would be dancing, running around the church and doing things like that because they were believers. So I think that as we've seen Jade in the entire series, he's seen visions such as Christopher, He's seen other stuff that he's just visually looked at. I think now the vision's able to affect him physically because he's becoming more of a believer in things that he normally wouldn't believe before in the past. So at one point I was a believer in like religion, and I believed I was getting the Holy Ghost. I believed in a lot of things that I was like reading and being told. And if you believe hard enough, or your strength as far as belief is strong enough, you will start to actually see stuff and actually touch stuff that other people can't touch and see and even smell. So I think that's what we're seeing with Jade, is he's just starting to become a believer. And I wouldn't be surprised if towards the end of the season that he believes to the point where he actually really considers gouging out his own eye, drinking blood to get answers.
That's definitely possible. Driving him crazy for sure, and I cannot wait to see where they're going to put that. Right? Because I mean, is it something that's he's following that path, or is it like just driving him crazy just to drive him crazy? Is he just like I said, tapping into it more and more just out of that belief? Part of me thought it was the drugs. And because he's constantly on a substance, like compared to some of the other people in town. Even I think he was drinking right before he, they made sure to show him, still with a little flask drinking. And then he goes out in the woods, takes a piss, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, I see something. But I don't even know if that has anything to do with it. It's just coincidence. Just the little things they put in there to really drive us crazy. But yeah, this was probably my favorite out of the episode. That was hard to pick though, because Fatima eating stuff is just disgusting. And I was just like, oh, and there was something weird too that snapped when she pulled out the vegetables. And I was like, what the hell was that? There's this weird snapping sound as if she was like pulling a root. And I like a legit, like a tree root or something. I don't know. It was weird. And I have to go back and listen to it. I was trying to get the audio for it so and like clip it and everything.
Right.
But yeah, because I can't figure it out. I was like, what the hell was that? I think there was a few moments like that. What about you, Dana?
My favorite moment of the episode, I really, really enjoyed, like you guys were saying, just the whole visions that Jade were having, because I think we're getting a little more to his story, and we're seeing a little more about what really kind of this place is. I think it is trying to speak to him in some way and guiding him somewhere, but piggybacking off what you said about him believing so much he might gouge out his own eye. Do you guys think that if he has to sacrifice a child, he would go that far? Because if we're saying the Ankui children could be possible sacrifices or a sacrifice at a moment, and we have a child now hearing from being Ethan, do you think Jade would take it to that level to where he would have to sacrifice a child to gain knowledge or gain the next step he's supposed to take?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Because if he's willing to gouge out his own eye, what else would he be willing to do?
Yeah, when Sarah was gonna take Ethan's life, I think Sarah has mental health issues, and her hearing the voices and believing the voices and not just jumping to, oh, maybe I have schizophrenia. She's got problems. And plus she's on the show, she's supposed to be like a teenager or something. So she's like young, and maybe she's lived a sheltered life. Who knows? Mm-hmm. But the fact that she was going to do that means she, in my opinion, is farther down the line as far as someone who's been in a place like that will affect you by things you're seeing and experiencing. I don't think Jade is there. I don't think he's ever going to be there because he's so intelligent. Someone who, in my opinion, someone who's really intelligent, they're going to be more focused on logic and reasoning as opposed to emotion, even if they do believe in the supernatural.
So you don't think he would take it to that level?
I don't. I think he might contemplate taking his own eye. But as far as a child, that's really dark, and a lot of people are not about that life. So
absolutely, that's what makes the children so mysterious, because we don't know what brought them to that state. And I know sacrifice is a big thing in the community that people possibly thought they were in some way. So I'm curious just to wonder if this place pushed people so far that they actually did something like that.
I think that's the difference between the Jade's trajectory. Jade is trying to avoid the Christopher trajectory. And I think that's what happened to Christopher. That symbol tormented him to the point where it got in his mind and made things that were unspeakable, unthinkable. It seemed like not that bad of an idea. And it seemed to me that Christopher may not have had maybe the intellectual capabilities, the logical capabilities that Jade has, where he would have had defenses against that kind of stuff. I think Jade's going to go into it a little more rationally, and like Parkland says, there's going to be Jade has a very rational grounding, a very rational baseline, where even if his visions are telling him this is necessary, there's always going to be that rational side of him that's going to be able to reel him back a little bit, pull him back from the cliff before he jumps over. Because I think he realizes that there are points which once you're past it, you cannot return. And killing a kid definitely is, and not just killing a kid incidentally or whatever, like deliberately sacrificing them with the intention of manifesting a supernatural goal or something. That's probably a bridge too far for Jade's rational side, I think.
But do you guys think that somebody did go that far with the children? What's your thoughts on the children? If not a sacrifice, what do you think the children on those slabs in that Jade saw in that vision could possibly be?
Well, the credits have them as ghoulish children. And to be honest with you, those ghoulish children are somewhat dehumanized for me. I wouldn't like hurt them or anything, but I don't really regard them as being like Ethan, because they're described as ghoulish children and they look sickly, like they have cancer or something. Nothing against children who have an affliction, but it's just that they just look a little bit more dehumanized. And plus they're saying all they say is "Ankui." They just seem like they'd be more, as far as the way I look at them, more like the creatures, people like that, or entities
so another
like that.
form of monster.
Yeah, so they're dehumanized, and I could see maybe someone else in town considering maybe taking that step, like Sarah. Sarah's a real good candidate for taking out young children, but I just don't see anyone really just getting to that point where they really are just going to like take the life of a child. I think people would rather fight the creatures head on, even if it's a suicide mission, than to take the life of a child.
Interesting. What about you, Scarlett?
I don't know completely where to put the ghoulish children, but I know Body was saying something up here. I like the voices proved they were real, and they gave her the impression they could tell the future. And I think that a little bit along with Bitey because of what she knew about Father Kotri. I don't believe there was a way she would know what he buried in that open field or whatever, where he had the little candy bar and all that stuff before he came in, where the bottle of alcohol. She drew that, and now again, that could still be that's still slightly speculatory, but some of the other things that she was talking about, it was almost as if, how did she know that? So I don't know. She's definitely got something up with her, in my opinion. Now the kids, I don't know if they were sacrificed yet or not. I think they were, but in which way were they sacrificed? As in, like, were they just completely, how do I say this without sounding, they just like, stabbed and whatever, bled out. I don't think it was quite that kind of a sacrifice. I think it's going to be something a little bit crazier, maybe even wilder. I wouldn't be surprised if there's not some kind of tree that's like feeding off of things.
I thought the rocks that were arranged out in the sevens, like the almost like sacrificial tables or whatever, like almost like altars. I thought that definitely gave me the ritual vibes. So I thought,
I just don't know what kind of ritual though, because they don't show like stabbing of the children.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Their
Maybe they were
wounds
tied
are
to
not
it.
like stabbed. They have this weird moss growing on them, and they have these weird wounds from, like, to me it looks like cicada marks, similar to ones that Martin, he has some similar marks on him, and then it's similar to me. It reminds me of what Kenny got on his arm.
Could I mean, if I almost would say, because they do look a little, like Parkland said, like cancer, but a little bit like drowning too, kind of. But I would have expected more bloated, because there's two ways to go with drowning, and there's waterlogged, and then there's that bloated, gross one. And there was that one dude that did look almost like the one monster in his, when Tabitha and Victor were walking through the caves. There was a guy that did look almost bloated, like a drowning thing. And if it wasn't going to be like a sacrifice, like an Aztec thing where they plunge the dagger into the heart kind of thing, there's definitely an element, and it reminds me very Lovecrafty, where somebody might be chained, shackled, tied to an altar at low tide, and just let the high tide rise up on them, which would also make sense why there's water in the, which calls back Tabitha, where's this water coming from, or something, when they were walking through the monster caves too. But I don't know, they haven't given me enough to really put my finger on drowning as the source, because it also looks like radiation. It looks like the kids look like a lot of different things. Plus the clothing they wear is a little bit out of date. Can't really put a finger on the exact time period of that too. So when this happened, that kind of stuff. Earlier time periods, things done in the name of religion and ritual was a lot more acceptable.
Let me cut this guy off real quick. Let me cut him
Oh
off.
no, here we go. Here we go.
Welcome everybody. Let's welcome Real to the panel.
That's
and
my
Anthony from the Movie Blog. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate it that you guys are with us tonight for however long we have you. And the discussion right now is, what are your thoughts on the Ankui kids? Because Parkland brought up a good point, that if Jade was maybe going to sacrifice his eye. So I asked him if he's willing to go that far. Do you think he possibly would sacrifice a child? Because it's been brought up that possibly these children are a sacrifice of some kind. Okay, so what are your guys' thoughts?
I don't want to dodge your topic. I don't have a lot of time. Real quick, I got to get ready to go to the studio. I'm going to spend some time with my kids real quick before I leave out the door. But I definitely want to cut Ravener off, because I heard he been looking for me. So you know what I'm saying? I had to cut him off. Nah, Ravener's my guy, y'all. He's good people. Yo, I love being in the building with such good people. Scarlett, Dana, Anthony's up in here now. I just came off his live. We got my man. What was the name you told me to call you, bro?
Oh, Spade is cool.
Spade, that's what it was. I didn't want to call you Parkland Media. I know you said Spade. That was it. And my
either one's cool. Either one.
My man Ravener, y'all are all dope people. I just want to come through and show some love real quick. You know what I mean? I'm about to go play some chess with my sons for a little bit. Probably eat a couple French fries and head on out the door. You know what I mean? But I definitely wanted to come through and show some love to these beautiful panelists and the beautiful chat. Everybody in the chat that's saying what's up to me. Peace and wellness to everybody. I see BK down there. BK, thank you for all you do. Chocolate Beauty, beautiful sister there. Thank you for all you do, cousin. Indeed. Robert Sanders said what's up to me. We got the wonderful Del Senior. We got Debbie Ebbo Bebby. We got Bitey. We got the whole crew up in here. I love it. All City Big Heck is in the building. We all in here. I love it. You know what I mean? I just had to come through and spread some love. I really have not been like out and about like that, like I need to be in these YouTube streets. So I just wanted to say something. My thing about the Ankui kids, I think that you're 100% right about the sacrifice aspect of these children. I think they are being sacrificed. I think they're who is turned into the slow monsters. When Jasmine said we didn't choose to be this way, it just sounded so childlike when she said it. The expression on her face, everything. The slow walkers and their hands and claws look just like them little kids' claws. The slow walkers have veins and stuff on their body, red and blue veins, just like them little kids. They're lacking hair, and the little kids' hair is falling out. Last but not least, they're trapped and locked up right there in the corridors with the slow walkers. And so I think that points to them being the baby slow walkers, if you will. So that's my thoughts about that.
Okay, so you think that like that little Gollum kid that was behind the bars might be there? He's like almost like a livestock in a pen until they can get him out there for the monster conversion.
Right, for the monster conversion. And I think that the monster conversion actually takes a long time. And the time that we see these children is actually the time of their death. So this is when they became ghosts and entities. But the sacrifice or the transition actually continued on after death. And they were turned or reanimated like puppets. And I think that they know the rules. They are actually in sync with the place, because what turns them into that, I believe, are the spiders. I think that the spiders comes down through that hole where the symbols were and bites on the children. Because you could see
Horrifying.
when Boyd was showing Christy his spider bites, those spider bites look just like the spider bites on the kids. You could see the same marks on the kids and shit like that, on their arms and face and shit like that. So I think that's them. That's my point.
And what about you, Anthony? What do you think about the Ankui kids?
So I'm curious, why did you guys think that Jade had to sacrifice his eye? Where did that come from?
Oh, that was Parker. He brought up a good point. Go ahead. You can tell your point again.
Yeah, so the guy on the tree, he's got the railroad spike through his eye, and that was the idea I had associated with that, is that because he was right next to those sacrificial like stones, that someone put him on there, but they didn't bound him to the tree. So him being on there is like someone either helping him or forcing him to get rid of his eye. And it's the fact that on the other scene where he's drinking from the skull, the blood, which is so, but people usually drink blood of their enemies for like for power, or drink blood for knowledge. And then he was kind of giving it to Jade. Just from Jade's trajectory, I was thinking that maybe the pilgrim guy sacrificed his eye, similar to what Odin did, to gain knowledge. Because when it comes to getting knowledge or information from the supernatural or higher power, you have to give up something to gain something. So giving up your eye to gain knowledge, like Odin. And yeah, that's kind of the theory I had with that. And then he was handing the skull to Jade as like communion, to say, if you want answers, you need to drink from the blood, as if like you're in church, drinking from the blood of Jesus and eating from the body, which is like wine and crackers.
Yo, that's cooking right there.
I love these screenshots. So
my backup question to that was, if he's willing to sacrifice his eye, do you think he would take it as far as to sacrifice a child, since it's been thought of in the community that these children were sacrificed?
So the first time I saw this dude nailed up to the tree, I was like, this isn't self-mutilation. I don't think he did this to himself. It made me start thinking about when Kelly was nailed to the tree in season 2, and I was like, oh, there's a sense of pattern, right? Like whatever did this to him is similar to what happened to Kelly when she had that rod in her head, was nailed to the tree and left alive. When I saw him drinking from the skull, it made me think about how, you know, in like not 15th century, like maybe 16th, 17th century, medicine was horrible, right? Like medicine was a terrible thing back then. You had men walking around with snake oil and tonics and all sorts of stuff. And one of the things that used to be done in the past as a method of healing, some medicines, people would drink blood, right? So when I saw this happen, the first thing I wondered was, is there something in him that he's trying to cure, right? And when as it relates to the children, I wonder if the children were sacrificed in order to get their blood, because it might heal something. So like, I know some people think the Ankui kids are the monsters, and I can't disprove that. Honestly, it's a solid theory, but I would like to, and I hope my theory is right, in that the Ankui kids are instead children that were sacrificed in Fromtown over the years. And the people who drank their blood may be turned into the monsters.
Oh, interesting.
Nice. Let's get to the chat real quick, because We got lots of comments built up here. I just want to get to a few of you guys.
Absolutely.
So Daryl says, my favorite moment was Kenny saying, "Where's your bag?" to Christy. That scene was acted really well. Yeah, that was definitely a good scene. He was letting her know and got time for it, as Raven said. Got time for this? We got to
Yep,
get
stop
food for the
babysitting
people.
me. Go get some carrots.
Let's see what else we got. Indigo says, favorite part was Fatima calling out Tilly. Yes, she let her know we weren't having them tarot cards. We didn't want none of that. She let her have it. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the screenshots too with the comments. All right, but yeah, she was definitely not into Fatima was definitely not into Tilly reading her fortune. Trying to figure out where was Tilly. I got Tilly. So many.
Crazy kooky Tilly.
Oh yeah, old fanny pack Tilly. You know she don't go nowhere. Look, where was she? She's over here somewhere. There she is. Got the fanny pack on still, snooping, talking about.
Because it
I
just
used to
needed
lick
that fanny
eggshells.
pack look overstuffed. Like it just looked like there was a lot of goodies in that fanny pack that we've yet to see. It was like bulging a little bit. Like she just had all types of stuff just jammed in that fanny pack.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, this she just hiding tarot cards around the house.
Maybe she's like Victor and walks around with a gun.
She might. I mean, there ain't no telling what she's packing. She packing all kinds of stuff. That fanny pack.
Tilly with the
little
pearl handle 22.
I don't put it past
the little
her.
girly gun. The little girly gun.
She got the little pearl handle 22 real quick on your head.
Got 2 shots.
Look, she's watching Elgin, right? She keeping tabs on Elgin, keeping tabs on Fatima. She's keeping tabs on folks. Keep my eye on her. See what else we got. We got the Grumbledore saying everything is location based, like there is a tear in reality at certain locations that trigger the visions or teleports you to that timeline. That is definitely a possibility. We don't know how these trees work and all these weird locations, whether it be just the tree itself that our townies seem to meet before they get trapped, or even where Martin is or was. So yeah, definitely a lot of weird kind of reality tears, dimensions, time travel stuff. Who knows? Teleportation. It could be any of the above. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Buddy says the voices prove they were real. Okay, yeah, I did go over that one. I'm sorry. Yes, we did go over that one. Breezy K says, but why the children are in the cave if Tabitha went to the tower for the children? And yes, that is one of the questions back.
That's interesting.
Yeah, because they were we kind of talked about, I think everybody has probably brought it up at one point. Why did she was told to go to the tower? Everybody's telling her to go to the tower to save the children. The same thing it seemed to be for Miranda, but there were no children. But we do see them constantly around the caves. So yeah, it's definitely weird. I don't know the answer to that one yet. What do you guys think? Anybody want to throw in a thought?
What about you, Raven? Or what do you think?
That one, man, I have no idea on that one. Why?
The only thoughts we saw was what's her name that stole the pillow and all that. That's the only thoughts.
Our alabaster dragon.
Yeah, Trudy. Trudy's the only thought. But if we got some thoughts, I think Raven will take that for you. So go ahead, Raven, get busy.
No, that's a good point. I hadn't really put the 2 and 2 together on that. Yeah, the Ankui kids are always around the cave. And then Tabitha and Miranda both, you got to go to the tower. So is there something in the tower that's snatching these kids up from around the cave? Maybe.
So I think we saw the Ankui kids a couple places. We saw them in town. Tabitha saw them from the porch, and Tabitha also saw them when she was leaving the barn with some clothes. Mm-hmm. What I thought was really important was when Jade went down in the caves and he looked up and he saw there was sunlight. But where was that? Right? So where we know the caves run under town, right? So the question I have is, when he got to the point where he was able to look up and for a moment see the sky, and even if it wasn't real, where in town is that? Now, my theory is that that's over by the bottle tree. that Miranda went through to get to the lighthouse. I think the Ankui kids and saving them is more so like metaphorical, like they're gone, but their spirits are trapped. And what Tabitha and Miranda need to do is to try to somehow free their spirits.
Like their spirits are maybe stuck in one of the bottles in the bottle tree.
That's a good one. I didn't even think that maybe it was the bottles, but I think that they're somehow trapped. I think a lot of things come to this town and can't pass on properly.
Interesting. So that's also kind of like why we are able to see the spirits of some of the dead people that come through, like
to a degree. Yeah, like we've seen Tom, we've seen Father Katri, but it could also be other things as well. I can only really say for sure, I really strongly feel about at least the Ankui kids are trapped, and that's why their spirits need to be freed. I think that when we saw that dude drinking from a skull, that was a really small skull, right? Like maybe the kids come to this town and get sacrificed. A big thing that I noticed in Victor's drawings was one of the drawings show a school bus, right? And the school bus is
Sorry,
full of
everybody,
children.
but my dad needs to play chess with me.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Well, that's allowed.
Thank you so
go
much
and
for
take your dad.
Yes, y'all have fun playing some chess. You
Yes.
beat him.
He was so adorable.
All right,
I
y'all.
love
Have
it.
fun, man. Have fun.
Yes,
Thank
indeed.
you.
Peace
Real.
and wellness
Have a
to
good
everybody
night.
out there. You know, yeah, I gotta go teach my son. You feel me? He wants to play
Yeah.
some chess. He wants to be
Nice.
able to beat his big brothers. So we're gonna make that happen.
Thank you.
Nice.
Appreciate
I'll
you
holler
doing
back
that.
at y'all.
Good night, sweetheart.
Peace.
Oh my God, that was adorable.
I know. It was like out of nowhere too. I was like, I looked around and looked to see if it was
That's
my
what
kid.
I was like, wait a minute. We're talking about children. Where is that voice?
It was my kid. I literally turned around. And thought
Wait
it
a
was mine. I
minute.
was like, wait a
That
minute.
is horrible. Like, I'm scared right now. What's happening?
I heard a child. My mama instincts kicked in. What? Where? What am I gonna get?
Everybody's looking under tables. What's going on? Where'd that voice come from? Where'd that voice come from?
But yes, Glue Guns and Roses also agree. She thinks the skulls were kid size. So yes, and honestly, I would go with y'all because I have no idea. I have not measured human skulls. I'm not versed in such
You're
matters.
not versed in skull measuring there.
Not yet. You know, I guess I guess we need to be that. Put that on the list of things we need to learn in order to figure out the show.
Put it on the bingo card.
Yes. See what else we got. Jay Sleek says he wanted to share his skull liquid with Jade. Yummy, yummy. See what else we got. Debbie says Odin sacrifices Eye to gain knowledge to learn the names of every one of the gods. Exactly. Spades. Call it, let you know she agrees with you. You were on point.
Yeah, see, when it comes to like a cultist, they usually are like a group of people, and sometimes one person may do something to someone else, and they kind of consider it to be a sacrifice because it's allowed to happen. So, like, my thoughts on the children in the lighthouse. All right, this is gonna sound wild, but I think Miranda.
Hat on, people.
Yeah, put the tinfoil hat on. So I think Miranda, Victor's mom, on the acid trip, she had a vision of Tabitha walking up the lighthouse and saw the toys there, and had the idea of save the children because she saw Tabitha walking up the lighthouse to save the children. So when Miranda got into Fromville, she was thinking that she should save the children too. Told Victor, then, you know, Miranda, I believe that she lost her life outside of the faraway tree that went to the tower. And so when she told Victor that as a boy, Victor becomes a man, and he tells Tabitha about what his mom told him of what she saw her do. And that's what made her want to go to the tower to save the children and then walk up there. So I think that there really is no actual children there to save. Like, I forgot the guy's name. I'm sorry. Because we don't have the names up there. But I don't think there's actual children to save. I think at one point in time there was maybe children living in the lighthouse tower, maybe before Fromville became Fromville, because a lot of times there was guys or people who manned lighthouses, and the themselves and the family would live in the lighthouse. So I think those toys and different things are from like the past, and they're just like sitting there in the lighthouse. And so it kind of creates like a paradox that Tabitha went to go save the children because Victor told her to go do that, because his mom told him she was going to go do that because the mom saw Tabitha walking up the lighthouse to go save the children that she heard about from Victor. And it's like a big loop, because the only time we really, because the main time we've seen the children in the cave, one was like locked up in like a cell or a cage or whatever, a makeshift cage. And that's the only time we've seen the children needing to be somewhat rescued. But that child kind of came to the cage smiling and playing with the blocks as if like wanted to play fetch with Tabitha while Tabitha and Victor were down there. So I think that the thing that we see on screen is maybe a past event with the stuff on the roof as far as the symbol. And I think that Jade saw a vision of backward in time or the past. And then when you go back to the regular time period, it's covered up because this is like the present, and it's been like, you know, different, I guess, whatever,
overgrown or sealed up in a way.
Grown and sealed up. Yeah. So I think like really there is no hope for Fromville. Everything about saving children, it's too late. And the most you can do is probably sacrifice something or someone to be able to perhaps go home if that's possible.
Okay, and I like that. And it even goes into what Debbie says in another one of her comments. And I slightly agree with this and how the whole bracelet shenanigans is taking place, that the bracelet Miranda made can be explained by her vision. She made it based on a vision of the one Tabby made for Jim. And that's what I was thinking when I originally watched the episode, that they created this weird paradox, because once we found out that Miranda was seeing things from the past and then possibly into the future, like that was pretty much confirmed. Then it was like, okay, she saw these things of Tabitha, told Victor, just like you said, Spade, kind of, you know, relayed that to Victor and them. And then those events did take place. They got together, and it was just this weird, she was trying to create, because she created multiple items, right? Not just the bracelet. She created the tree. She was creating all these paintings. She was trying to, almost as if the things even in the basement were similar to the things in the cave. You know, it was almost as if she was trying to recreate things to get there, try to figure it out, even maybe before she got there. And so, yeah, I like that. I like where you guys' head is going with it. I'm loving it. I'll let you get back to it, Dana, and I'll keep going through.
So now my next question to you guys is what do you guys think we are going to see in Victor's suitcase? I'll start with you, Anthony. What do you think is in the box? What's in the box?
I can't comment on this one.
You know something, don't you? oh, he knows something, but thank you guys. No spoilers, so it's okay if you'd like to not comment. I will throw this to Ravener. What's in the box, Ravener? What's in the box?
See, I didn't think it would be a spoiler, because he flat out said, when he was asking Sarah about, do you have bedspreads, because we need to build a fort. What do you think? I mean, that
I know we're leaning towards a movie projector, but what do you think? Like, what do you think it's gonna be?
Oh, I said it last night, man. I think it's going to be something with Christopher. I think it's going to be old reel-to-reel 8mm film, like Super 8 that they took, and I bet it's going to have something to do with Christopher and his friggin' ventriloquist doll, because we've only ever seen them separate. But I think, I guess according to Jeremy, he said that in what they've shown in the trailers, which again, it can't be a spoiler if it's in the trailer.
Yep.
The only thing that we haven't seen yet is the scene where Christopher is holding the ventriloquist all together. So I think it'll be, you know, maybe it was like they had like a variety show or some kind of thing, like something that they were doing entertain themselves, and in the early days of Fromville, that they took on an old camera or whatever. So I don't know where the camera is, and when I looked at the I googled real quick because everybody wants to be specific. It didn't look like projector cases. Looks like luggage more than anything. But thing is, I don't know that the set designers and stuff on From will care that much. This suits the purpose. It doesn't necessarily matter. We're not going to be setting out the exact dimensions. Oh, well, this can't be it because a projector is 18 inches and this one's only 14.5 inches. Therefore, it's impossible. I think for the purposes of the show, or maybe the projector somewhere else, who knows? But I think there's some reel-to-reel film in there, some 8mm, and it's going to have some critical point. And I guess again, I didn't see this. I didn't see the trailer part that Jeremy was referencing, but I guess there's also a fire in that same, associated with that scene. So I thought, well, shit, man, that cellulose film probably caught fire like it always does. That we've seen that a million times, where it starts turning brown and bubbling up, and then it goes click, 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 and you get the white screen and stuff. I imagine that Sarah's going to see something off of those films and then the film gets broken and destroyed, so that now only Victor and her are the two people with that critical piece of information. And then the point is going to be, how are people going to believe Sarah? Because right now her credibility level is sub-zero in the town, and I'm assuming maybe it's going to be Jade that she has to tell this to. I don't know. But that is the plot device that I'm seeing happening here. There's going to be film in there. They're going to watch it. There's going to be a critical piece of info that only now Sarah has access to, and they won't be able to replicate it or reconstruct it. And then they're going to have to go from there. That's my guess.
And what about you, Spade? What do you think is going to be in the box?
Well, I'm hoping what I just heard is in the box. What I thought was in there is nowhere cool as an 8mm camera. So my thought is, I just got a complaint. If it's a camera in there and Victor only wants to share the little camera, do a camera show with Sarah, Victor's dad, who I believe now is in Fromville, needs to go to Victor and spank him, because Victor is withholding all this information. I mean, think about it. He's got an 8mm camera. He only wants to show Sarah that everybody doesn't like because she was trying to sacrifice his friend, and he's gonna go to his friend's enemy and show this gold mine of something that has knowledge. And if it does get destroyed, now only those two know. And like Ravener was saying, that no one likes Sarah, so no one's going to believe her. And I guess the voices from her have gone or something. Season 1, she was the GOAT. Now she's just useless. So yeah, Victor's dad needs to come and spank him, because that's horrible. That's selfish. He's too old to be selfish. It's different if he was like 6. Dude. I'd be like, yeah, you selfish. You'll grow out of it. But it was like what, 50 plus? Yeah. You're too old to be selfish, bro.
Well, he's got a lot of mileage. He got a lot of mileage out of. I don't want to talk about that. It's like,
right. Just sit him down, Victor. It's all right. Start talking. I don't care. Just talk.
Yep.
Let it all out. I want to know, and I'm gonna have my notebook, taking notes.
That's right.
Like, okay.
Yeah, strap him to the colony house sex bed. Just strap him down and said, you don't get fed. You start talking, but we'll start giving you peaches.
And as at a time. His motivational misfit says, I believe there's going to be 20 cans of peaches in that suitcase. It's where his extra stash was, so he would never run out. Yeah. So he forgot. That's what he forgot. That's what he forgot about.
I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot or anything, but if it's possible that there's 8mm camera in the suitcase, can we just blink a couple of times? Okay, I see the blinking. I'm good. Okay.
Nah. So I will say this. We've seen Victor hide stuff, right?
Yes, we have.
That's all I'll say. We've seen Victor hide stuff.
I'm gonna take it back. Just take this a little bit, but I'm gonna take it back.
Because he hid it in the ground.
So
That's-
I mean, like, I'm trying to be mindful because honestly, I just don't want to spoil it for people, right?
Okay, yes, thank you.
Is the private chat eligible for spoilers, or that's off limits too? I'm just asking.
I don't know.
Ask it for
Y'all
a
can
friend.
share all the spoilers amongst yourselves as long as we don't spoil them for the chat.
Yeah, and I'm just guessing because I don't have any
didn't-
access
no,
to any of that stuff.
I know
I'm
there
like
was some
the
stuff floating
anti-spoiler
around
guy.
for what the
Yeah.
next episode or whatever. There's some photos out there, probably a trailer. I haven't checked any of that stuff out yet. I'm trying not to, honestly. I know because there's already some pictures out there, and I have not seen them, but I have been informed of them, and I'm going to try to stay away from them just because this season, and trust me, they're there. The temptation for the spoilers is real because I want to know. But I know it will kind of ruin it at the same time. So it's like it's that battle, within yourself. But I don't, everybody to each their own. But it's very tempting.
Yes, but feel free if you'd like to know.
But
and
it's-
if you would like to put in the side chat for you. Feel free.
But it's Monday, and that's like Sunday's a long time. Like
I
it's
know.
one thing for you all to be like, in a suitcase, it could be clothes or whatever. But we just dropped a grenade. I heard 8mm camera, and now I'm like, I'd like to,
I've only
Yeah.
seen, I've seen
You
the
will
30
not be
seconds.
the way
disappointed
that
with
she-
what's inside the suitcase. You will not be disappointed.
I
Okay.
assumed it was a camera after we watched this episode, just the way he was like, we need a sheet, and then they showed it in the season 3 trailer. So I was thinking it was going to be like, we going to have movie time, but I don't know if that's what it's going to be. That was just based off this episode and what they showed us in the season 3 trailer.
I was really convinced. I thought it was going to be Polaroids. I didn't think about a camera. I thought it was going to be like a level up from the drawings because we've seen drawings brought in so much, and we've seen that there's Polaroids because of what we've seen of Christopher. So my mind immediately went to, okay, we've done the drawings thing. What's next? Like a Polaroid, pictures of some kind. But then the theory started floating around when they saw the bed sheets catch fire that it's possibly 8mm film because, yes, like you say, you set up the sheet and there's your movie screen to set up and be able to watch. I personally didn't even think about that. My mind specifically went to the Polaroid camera was going to be in there.
Yeah, and I seen the 30-second trailer for episode 4, but it had nothing to do with any of that I recall. It was just all the shit with the ambulance, I think. And it seems like it's going to be the ambulance and then something at night, the nighttime scene. But I don't know anything beyond that really.
Yeah, and there's so much stuff out there. It's so hard to not even try to check out this new stuff. I'm doing good so far.
It's so
I don't want it, and I'm even having to be careful because I know some of you guys in chat want us to look at certain things and just to make sure that nothing is sent to us that's not for us to show. Because I know I don't know what I showed the other night, but I hope it wasn't a spoiler. Everybody told me it wasn't a spoiler. I'd be second guessing myself.
It's very difficult. And I know what makes it more difficult is I know a lot of the bigger streamers and you guys have been given 5 or 6 episodes. I give you guys credit for being able to holding on to that. That's not an easy thing to do. Like, it's not an easy thing to do to still create your content and do it in such a way that you are respecting people who haven't had that privilege. So I do commend you guys who did get access to a lot of the episodes and sit here and have to kind of work your theories against what you kind of already know and keep it to where people in the chat who haven't had that. And so it's hard and I really do commend anybody who has gotten access to the episodes and is able to not just like, because the one time I was given early access to something was The Walking Dead a really long time ago. And I had to hold that information for a week, one episode. And I was literally pacing the floors because I couldn't talk to anybody about it because I had to sign a waiver. And I couldn't share any of that information with anybody. And I literally was bursting at the seams. And it is one episode. So I could not imagine sitting there on 5 episodes and having to pace yourself like that. I would lose my mind.
Yeah, I got a question. When you get like 4 episodes ahead of time, do they send you more after that 4 is caught up, or once the 4 is done, you're in there with everybody else, guessing what's going to happen on 5.
From what I've learned, it's different for everyone. So
okay.
Some people get some more than others.
Okay.
The frustrating thing for me is it's actually not keeping things held in, because honestly, I don't watch as much as I have access to. I craft a lot of my content based off of like recapping episodes, theories, what I think is going to happen. And I know if I go to like the end, I'm going to lose all sense of credibility and authenticity in talking about like episode 3. So I can say how far I've seen. Like I've seen up to the 5th episode.
Okay.
So I know a little bit more than, I know the next episode and the episode after that, but I'm intentionally stopping there because I want to join lives, right? I want to have fun. I want to,
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to fake it. And I've gotten frustrated, but I get it. There are a lot of creators who have more access or have access similar to what I have. And it breaks my heart when I watch their content and they're like, oh man, I have a theory and I know what's going to happen. They're like, oh,
Yeah.
I think Tabitha's going to meet Henry and that's going to be Victor's dad. And I'm like,
yeah, it's sometimes hard to trust some of the stuff that they put out there, knowing that they have access. But I do respect the fact that if a creator came out from the beginning and was like, I have access, this is what I've seen, spoiler alert, these are my theories from what I've seen to what I don't know.
Right.
And
that's
like,
what I try to do.
Upfront about it.
That's what I try to do. So like I'll comment on things like, and even saying what I don't know in and of itself is inherently a spoiler, right?
Yes.
So like I try to be careful even about that, and I try to talk to the specific things in that episode that might have been unclear.
No, that's
sorry.
I commend you for that, because it's very difficult to sit there and navigate this world. Me and Scarlett are very new to this world. Like we've just started streaming about shows and stuff, and we're not to the level to where we get access, not yet. So, but we like to hear the thoughts and theories of others, because it's good for people to see us as creators, whether you get access or not, to come together and share those thoughts. Because at the end of the day, they're watching us for that. They want to know our thoughts, opinions, what we think, what we've seen, what we think this show is going to be. So I'm glad that we're able to bring you guys together and talk about these things.
I'm feeling pretty damn good about my guess, though. I don't know.
You got it, Ravener.
No, but I appreciate him not like, and that would be a spoiler for him to say, yes, you're exactly right, too, if I'm guessing, and I'm guessing right. But that's how they sequester information. That's how shows like this operate. And I've seen a million shows like this where they keep certain bits of critical information within a certain number of people, and they do it. There's only a finite number of ways that you can keep information sequestered or share it with this person and then not make it available to everybody else. And this message will self-destruct after that kind of thing. That's how that stuff happens. So that's cool. Yeah. But we don't know, and that, see, all my theories are little theories. They explain tiny little aspects, one little thing. They don't go overarching. I still have no clue what the heck's going on overarching in the whole thing. You caught me off guard with the Ankui kids and stuff. That's just one thing. That's just a plot line that I never let my brain wander down. I can't even begin to make heads or tails of what they are,
So one of my commenters gave me a really cool theory. I can't take credit for it.
Okay.
You remember when Tabitha was in the caves back in season 2 with Victor? And she's walking through the caves, and then for like a moment, she sees like an Ankui kid, and it's like caged. And then we see the puzzle thing stacked there. And the Ankui kid like rolls a ball at it. You guys remember that? Almost like she was
Yeah,
bowling. Like
yeah.
he was
I'm
bowling.
trying to find it actually right now. What? And back in way back.
Yeah, and he was behind
in the
the
day.
wooden. There's like 4 or 5 wooden bars or whatever, jail bars.
So someone theorized that is where the kids were jailed when they were alive, before they were sacrificed. And it was trying to communicate with Tabitha. Like, all they can say is Nkui. They can't say anything else. What if the creature, the kid, was trying to tell Tabitha that in order to free the children from the tower, you have to destroy the tower? What if that building block was a symbol for the tower itself?
Okay. So
and-
freeing them from the tower isn't just taking them physically from the tower; it's taking out the tower.
Because I kept looking at that lighthouse, and I'm like, I don't see any ocean. Yes.
Yeah.
And don't we see the lighthouse on fire in one of the drawings?
They did. There's one scene where it's normal, right, and then another, because it's shown twice, right? Once normal, and then once with a bunch of orange and yellow around. That'll be you gotta have this picture, Scarlett. I know you do.
Do you know how many folders I have right now? I'm going through because y'all are talking, and I'm like, well, I thought I was prepared.
No pressure, no pressure.
Raiders always like, you do such good getting the screenshots as we talk.
You're just letting
Tonight
everybody
we're talking,
down.
Like episode,
don't let
like
it get
season
you.
1, season 2, way back.
She's like, damn, hold on, I gotta go with the other
This
folder.
is horrible. I don't even know if I may not have all of those images readily available.
And I'm not even a picture, like the people that did analysis on all those drawings and stuff. I was never one of those guys either, but I know what you're talking about, Dana. I think there definitely was something that indicated a fire.
Were those the ones?
There was a fire on the church.
Was it Eloise's drawings or Victor's?
I don't know, but I remember
that helps me determine where.
Tell me if I'm wrong. I think there was a picture, a drawing of the lighthouse on fire. If I'm not BK, if you're still in there, I know you.
Or yeah, chat. If y'all have the drawings, send them into Discord, and I will get them immediately. Wait, actually, here, there.
Do you remember, Spade? Wasn't there a drawing?
There you go. Thank you, Mr. Anthony.
Okay.
There you go. Yes, if you have it as well, feel free to share your screen.
Yeah, that's definitely the church. Yeah, I'll get in Discord here and see if I can find it, because I know there was one that it literally showed like the same. It might have been in Eloise's though, because it was definitely the lighthouse. We definitely identified it as the lighthouse, and there were at least 2 depictions of the lighthouse in 2 different ways. One with the trees at the bottom, and then another one.
I remember thinking you're talking about Eloise's, which is why
with a whole lot more yellow and orange and whatnot in the second.
The only other one I have of the lighthouse is just the lighthouse shining.
Here, I got it. Are you talking about the yellow on the bottom? Was it like yellow Ravener? Like this?
I don't know. That was one of them.
Right.
Right, and then there's another one.
Fire?
Oh, okay.
Oh, I thought that was trees, but it could be fire.
Oh, I didn't know. This is the one from Eloise's pictures.
I always thought that was fire.
I will keep looking. We'll be here. I'm sorry. I'm not even highlighting chat anymore. Y'all got me all up in the screenshot.
Well, you could say it could be fire, but then it's like, well, did she not have red crayon? Because in the picture with the, I guess the church, where there's different colors, different like shade, like red, orange, yellow. So because the light at the top of the lighthouse is yellow and there's yellow at the bottom, it may just be that yellow at the bottom may be like a portal or something. I don't think it's necessarily on fire. But then again, if someone's seen a future episode and they're like, yeah, it's on fire, bro, then I'll stand down.
You know what? I think my wife is calling me.
No,
I'm sorry, my bad.
and Scarlett, I think that one was the one that I was thinking of, the one with the yellow on the bottom.
Yeah, that's what Bitey. Yeah, Bitey's what I was just gonna say. Bitey. Then we're confirmed.
I always interpreted that as fire. I don't know why.
I don't know what I would interpret it because it's definitely light. Because if they're showing the top of it as being a light or some sort of light, then that would have to be some sort of light. It's the same color, which I guess would be fire. Because the top, it was a gas lighthouse, right?
Mhm. Yeah,
So-
it is.
Yeah.
So that would that tracks for a kid's picture. I mean, my kid was drawing me a picture, and I'll maybe.
There we go. Just coming up with new theories, new thoughts, bringing all this stuff out into the open. You can't. What are you gonna do? But let's move on to, I guess, another question.
Oh
So
gosh, hang on. Yes, let me get the proper screenshots back up. Okay,
yes.
go ahead.
So what do you guys think the crow signifies crashing through the window during the tarot card reading between Fatima and Tilly? Do you take that as a sign of something trying to prevent the reading or something trying to warn Fatima? What was your guys' take on the raven or crow smashing through the window? What about you, Spades? What do you think that is?
Well, I see that Anthony has to leave.
Yes, I just saw that as well.
You want to take a crack at it before?
Sure.
I'm sorry.
So real quick, I was talking to this dude, Taran, Matharu, who'd made like a bunch of really interesting Reddit theories.
Yes,
and
Taryn. We know Taryn.
And his theory was that the Raven was trying to wake Elgin. That it wasn't trying to interrupt what was going on with the card reading, that instead it was trying to wake up Elgin, who was next to them sleeping. And I wanted to at least share his theory. I wasn't sure how to interpret it.
Interesting.
But one thing I think is that this place is always watching. And I feel like this game is in some way tied. The tarot cards are in some way tied to uncovering the town's secrets. I don't think that this town wanted Fatima to learn what was going on with her baby. I think that whatever is going on with that little demon child is for the town to know and everyone else to wonder.
Interesting. But thank you. We appreciate you joining the roundtable tonight. And
Yes.
I hope that you join us for future conversations. And we appreciate you giving us the time and sharing it with us. So
Thank you so much. Thank you. I really appreciate the invitation. Yeah, I'm happy to come back. Thank you.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Have
Good
a great
insight there.
night.
Good night.
Good night, honey.
See what
So-
else we got in the chat real quick too. Okay, no, actually go ahead because they're answering the question as well. My
Yep.
bad.
So
Yes.
what about you, Spade? What do you think that crow means?
All right, so tinfoil hat time. So when it
Okay,
comes
put
to
my
getting
tinfoil
when it comes to divination, like asking the supernatural or for answers, you have to kind of like sacrifice in order to get an answer. So in Fromville, what I've noticed is when they built the tower on top of Colony House, there was no sacrifice. Here comes a storm, lights and stuff going on in the house. People were injured. Tabitha digging, trying to get answers as far as the chords. She's digging, no sacrifice made. House falls on top of her. And so with this tarot card reading, normally someone who's doing like a reading, they'll charge someone like money for the reading, so that'll be kind of like your payment or your sacrifice to get this information from the supernatural. And they also have stories in the Bible of people sacrificing things to God for a blessing or for favor. There's one story, I got my stories mixed up, that someone was going to sacrifice their child because God asked him to, and then the angel stopped them or whatever. So with trying to get something from supernatural or divination, rather, you gotta give up something. So in this situation, Tilly, who said in the scene that when she first started using the tarot cards, it's because someone showed her how to do it, and then she started doing it. And I think that because Tilly didn't know what she was doing, and she wasn't like giving up something to get this information, what was taken from her or given to her as payment for the answers that she was given was cancer. So I think that now I said all that to say, when Tilly was doing this reading, when Tilly told Fatima to ask a question, that like the crow hit the window as Fatima was asking the question. No, it was after the question was asked about her child, the crow hit the window. And that's when Tilly had her hand on the card. So as Tilly kind of lifted it a little bit, the crow hit the window again. And then when Tilly lifted the card all the way and revealed it, not to the camera, the crow came into the colony house, started flying around, and it hit somebody. And I think that this is going to sound crazy. I think Fatima's baby caused the crow to hit the lamp and then hit the wall and then become unalived. So I think it's all about sacrifice in Fromville, where you have to give up something in order to get something. And if you're not playing by those rules, then bad things happen. And it kind of also goes to what I believe when Father Katri was like, there's no Bibles in the town, because the Bible can be considered a tool. It can be considered a weapon by some, like attacking the mind in a way. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it's also something that gives you answers, such as like you read a scripture and someone's reading the scripture and they say, well, this scripture means this to me. And they give you a story based off this scripture that could possibly help someone. So in church, you give a donation, which is like, money in a collection plate. You also give tithes and offering, which is associated with sacrifice and giving up something in order to get a blessing, which I think blessing means be less, but I digress. So I think that whole situation with the tarot cards was just the fact that Fatima wasn't giving anything up, not even a payment for these answers. And I think even though Tilly knows what she's doing based off what Tilly has said, I think Tilly, if you take it frame by frame in that shot, Tilly, when the crow first hit, you can look at Tilly's face, and Tilly, I believe that she realizes something's wrong. I missed something. And I think that's what she missed, is just that missing element of sacrifice that has been in all across human history and kind of even now. Mm-hmm. And just kind of further ramble, if you think about it, when let's say you want money to pay your bills, you sacrifice your time and your energy to get this money. Everything in the world is about exchange. We're always exchanging information. To be on YouTube and do content, you got to pay your internet bill. To be able to be on YouTube and do content, you got to have a phone, you got to have a laptop or a computer. You got to give up something in order to gain something, which is like communicating with others. And in that scene, there was nothing given up. Fatima didn't even really want to do it. She was kind of like talked into it. And you can't really coerce someone into divination. They have to consent to it, and they have to believe. Yes. Fatima did not believe in it. Yes. So you got the idea that Fatima didn't want to do it. She was coerced, no consent. Then she's not a believer. Tilly kind of pushed it on her. And I think that crow is just symbolic, because crows are associated with death. Mm-hmm. So I just think that whole situation was just like negative, and Tilly was overstepping her bounds.
Interesting, because there is also something like that in Wicca. It's called the rule of three. You whatever you give, you get back times 3. So whatever you put out into the world, you get back from the world. And it's always in the rule of 3. So Wicca also has something very similar to that. You have to give in order to get. And if you don't give, you're not going to get anything. But if you put out evil, you get back evil. If you put out good, you get back good. So that makes a lot of sense to me. What about you, Raven? Or what do you think that crow smashing into the window at that moment possibly meant?
Well, I kind of went a little more towards Taryn's version, because I thought it was a little too on the nose. Because what they're leading us to is that, oh my gosh, they were about to do this reading and then the crows interrupted it. I'm always look a little more towards the movie making side, the filmmaking side, the actual TV show, like the making side, the story writing side. And I was like, okay, well, they're leading us to believe this, therefore I'm doubting what they're leading us to believe. And it was just weird that I was just laughing because Elgin had a crow on his shirt when he's laying there asleep, and he's got a crow on his shirt. One of the handful of people that we know that can bring stuff from his dreams into reality. He's got a crow on his shirt. He's sawing logs on that couch over there, and next thing you know, here manifests a crow into reality. I thought it might be that, and I thought the whole stuff with the tarot cards might just be a huge distraction from that aspect of the scene. I think I thought Elgin was key to. I thought Elgin was the key to the scene and very little to do with the tarot. But then again, I also believe that these guys really economize how much screen time they give to any one certain aspect. So to have Tilly with all this backstory about Gertie and her husband in the hospice and all this other stuff, they gave her a whole ton of screen time if it was just going to be a diversion to Elgin manifesting a dream into reality. So my one prediction was that maybe in next episode they're gonna, because they got blood on the wall, they got glass all over the place. My vision of the next episode was they're gonna have like a little scene where people are cleaning up, sweeping up the glass, wiping stuff, and they're just gonna pan over real quick to that table, and we're gonna see those two cards face up and see what they are. So we're at least gonna be privy to that information, because right now we don't know what those cards. She only turned over 2 cards, and we don't know what they were. And you guys would be the ones I would ask. I asked it last night in the chat, and nobody really bit. But in a 4-card spread, when you go from left to right, what are the first 2 cards? What do those 2 represent? Because it's like past and future, or
well, it depends. There's different spreads.
Yeah.
Now there could just be a general spread that like you're just asking a general question.
A
I
one-card
actually
spread,
did a reading within the last like year. I did one that the YouTuber has a channel and she does readings, and you can do a free reading, and she'll typically do 3 cards, I believe, for her free
Past,
reading,
present,
but
future.
you get a 4th one if you pay for it. And she'll even actually give you a few extra if the cards do this sort of jumping technique, whereas she's trying, because the way Tilly did it, she just she pulled off the top and placed them. I've seen it where they shuffle, and as they shuffle out the card, and the card falls out of the deck.
Yes, I've seen that too.
So it's one of the things where there's rules, but I believe also depending on the person, they can change them. It's one of the things that becomes personal. A deck becomes personal.
Yes.
The same thing if she was to be using the like the bag that has like little items in it that you kind of keep safe, and then you throw the bag out or you dump the bag out. It could be like stones, seashells, keys, just items that you find. You keep them in your little magic pouch, and that's sort of the way you read as opposed to using the card. So really, her just asking the question, it may be a past, present, future thing, or it's just going to I don't know, I probably have to agree with you, Dana. It's going to probably do sort of I don't know if it'll do a past though, because she's asking about the baby now. So it may just show her, with Ellis and sort of their love. It may show the baby and then like something that's bad and then something to come.
Yes. Typically in a 4-card spread, it's typically past, present, future, question specific. That's what the 4th card is. So when someone's asking the cards a question, it will give you an answer to what that meant or what your past could have represented for that question. So maybe it could have shown something to where, yes, Fatima was not able to have children. In the present, it could have possibly have shown something to where, yes, now you see the card that represents fertility and birth. To the future, where I think that would be the card where it would signify what the baby is. Because you wouldn't get that from the past. You wouldn't possibly get that from the present, but you would get that within the future card. Or you would get that in the specific card that's for the specific question. I've personally never seen people do a 4-card spread. I don't do a 4-card spread when I read tarot. I typically do a 3-card spread, or I do the Celtic Cross, because the Celtic Cross gives you a little more, you can get deeper into what the person is trying to ask. But also when I do readings, I let people know that just because you ask a question doesn't mean the cards are going to give you that answer. The cards will give you the answer to what it thinks you need to know most. So just because she was asking about the baby doesn't mean she was going to get an answer for the baby. The cards are going to really, if the person doing it is really in tune with their deck and knows what they're doing, the question that is asked might not be the question that the cards answer. So I don't know. Tilly doing this, I don't know. Like she said, she just learned how to do, and that goes with anybody. But from my experience from reading tarot and doing it myself, the cards are going to answer what they're going to answer. And sometimes it's not always the question that you ask. So when we do see what is on these cards, it might not be about the baby. It could be about something else. Because if something else is really connected to Fatima, like people are trying to place her with the kimono monster, we might get something that is shown about that and not the baby. I don't know which way the show is going to take it and how in depth they're going to take it, but I've personally never seen a 4-card spread or done one myself.
And I like this. Angela says Tilly can do a reading on Fatima without Fatima being present. So I'm curious, lots of people on YouTube do readings on famous people who aren't present. Maybe Tilly will do the same and keep the info to herself. But even more so, just like with what you were saying, Angela, makes me think, because I go back to when she was predicting the pregnancy to begin with. Does she have, maybe she's got the deck? Does Tilly got a little extra couple secrets we don't know about?
But she had no problem busting out Psalm 23 when nobody could sleep.
I'm just saying, man, she just seemed like she got a little extra stuff going on we don't know about. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm probably wrong. I'm wrong about half the stuff on this show, but like, I don't know.
Well, I always tell people when I read tarot myself, I'm not a psychic. I can't give you the lotto numbers. I can't tell you what, stuff like that. Typically, when you read cards, you're an interpreter. You can only interpret what the cards show you. And I don't know how versed Tilly is with interpreting tarot cards. So it's very hard to say what she's going to see when she looks at tarot and then tries to give a reading to Fatima. Because there's so many different interpretations of tarot that I could see something differently from Scarlett. I could see something differently from a different person who reads the cards. It all depends on the reader and what they interpret the cards to be when it comes to answering a question. So I don't know. And anybody who sees those cards, Taryn is now somewhat versed in tarot. I might see something different that he sees when those cards are flipped over and interpret them completely different. You can Google the information of what cards might be and take your interpretation from it. So I don't know why they brought in tarot, just because it is such a broad thing to do. Like, unless, boom, she's bringing out the devil card or the death card, we can interpret that easily more than, oh my God, is it a pentacle card? Is it, there's it. So
that'll tell us a lot too. Because if it's like the 5 of Pentacles, nobody knows what that is. But really, you insert tarot into your show, and that's kind of a cinematic shorthand for mystical, unknown, predictive, all this kind of supernatural or occult. You're injecting the occult, and it's just shorthand, because even if people don't know anything about it, they know of it.
Yes.
So that's what they're introducing into the story, I think.
That makes sense, because I feel this was a nod to them trying to say we're not just a sci-fi show. That's what I took it as. Like, because they've been put into this label of, oh my God, it's a sci-fi show. Well, tarot kind of contradicts that, right? Like, there's nothing scientific about tarot. It's very, like you said, occult, supernatural, magic. It leans more towards that than it does science fiction. So I think they threw this in to kind of set the record straight that they're not just a science fiction based show. There's more to it.
Oh, I was gonna say, do you think they're kind of doing that to kind of spoil us? Because they've already had Jim say, "What if this is an experiment?" They've already had Randall say, "What if there's a mole?" And now they're putting, it's almost like by saying it out loud in the show, they're dismissing that element as one of the possible theories or one of the possible explanations.
Could be, but it just screamed to me as they're trying to say that there's something more than science fiction in this show.
Okay.
that's just how I took it. I don't know. What about you, Spades? Like seeing a tarot card, seeing that you kind of deal in a religious side from it. Seeing the tarot cards, what did you take from it?
Well, I'm not religious anymore. I'm not
But you
about that
still,
life
you
anymore.
were, you know of it. Like,
One of it. So I think it's just the idea of wanting to know the future. And I've made content about future possible timelines and being able to look at Jade deal with the strings when he was in the home on episode 1 of season 3, how he was dealing with the different lines, and that could be timelines. I think at this point, the way I look at it is, if I'm in 2024, like everybody else, right? If I were to go to 1830 with my cell phone and show someone my cell phone, they would think it's magic. If I were to go to let's say 2 AD and show them my cell phone, they would think I was a sorcerer. If I were to go back to the caveman and cavewoman days with a cell phone, laptop, a computer, they may worship me. So I think, just kind of go along the lines of taking from Thor in the MCU, where our ancestors called it magic. Right now, we call it technology. It's one and the same. I think the idea of science fiction, it can get into occultism, esotericism. It can get into that because it's fiction. And it's a thin line between what we can control ourselves with what we invent versus what was invented for us, which I think tarot cards, I mean, they have a history and everything, but it's kind of like supposed to be from like the divine or from supernatural or from above. Same thing with doing sacrifices. I think in the cave, that big red thing is a symbolic of blood. Just even doing incantations, spells, when you listen to like music, secular music, that is, maybe even gospel music to a certain extent, it's kind of like casting spells on people. I've listened to like rock and roll and hip hop and rap music, and it made me angry based off the lyrics and the beat and the tonality of it. Tonality, it goes in your ear, it makes you feel some certain way. Same way, like if you listen to classic music while you're pregnant, or listen to classic music while you're studying, it could make you kind of like concentrate better because of the tones. And if you're working out and exercising, if you listen to rock and roll, hip hop, rap, because of the bass and the drums and the tonality of that, it can make your heart race faster and give you an adrenaline rush. So I think it's just along the lines of, we just don't understand certain things and we want to know answers. We want to know the future. We want guidance. And tarot cards are tools, just like pentagrams, just like with a cross, or I mean, really anything, even a book or rabbit's foot. It's just us trying to get answers. And at this point in the show, I'm no longer ruling anything out, especially with the ending that we got for this previous episode, where I think Fatima's in Fromville, and we're not going to get any more answers from the quote unquote real world. At this point, everything goes.
Speaking of which,
well, hang on, let's get to the chat. Yeah, let's see what some of you guys have been saying. Let me scroll back up just a little bit. Golden Child says, isn't it funny how probably all the people in the chat emulate every belief and religion that is seen in From? The show is explaining where we come from. And yes, we definitely get to hit on so many different cultures and beliefs in this show, which is one of the things, I guess, that brought us all together. Let's see. Tiptoe says, there are some theories that the monsters monsters are Wendigos, but I don't think so, because the stories say they have superhuman speed. And yes, what are the monsters? And there's a little bit of signs that there could be some Wendigo action, at least as far, for me, it's more of when the crops were failing, sort of the ground spoiling, a little bit of the monsters and their movements, because I think the monsters do have superhuman speed. They choose to use it at their own sort of, I don't know, peril. But I think the monsters do have superhuman speed. We just, they choose to use it at their own sort of peril. if they want to, they can, because they come up on Father Cautry out of nowhere, and she was like not there. He turns around, she's just all like scratching his throat open. So I think they're a little bit more faster than they let on. But the way they there's a lot of stuff about the monsters I'm trying to remember now off the top of my head. I've not gone down the Wendigo train. Oh, when I watched Pet Cemetery, that one particularly, when they went over and did the prequel what was it, 2 years ago or something now, that one kind of gave me a lot of vibes of the monsters that we see, just the way that maybe people who were dead come back. They had in that movie an underground cave system that one of the monsters built. It was under the house, and it led all the way to where the burial grounds were and the swamp and stuff and Pet Cemetery. And then it was just like little notes that were sort of similar. The spirals that were used in the symbolism in that movie, as well as the spirals on the triangle that we see in the cave drawings, just little tidbits. But who knows what these monsters are? They could be anything. Let's see, what else do we got? Let me scroll back down. Momo says, I like the fact that the show is spiritual and has magical / occult roots. A lot of people forget that many cultures cross over with rituals and stories. Absolutely. And if you have been anyone like me who's gone down all these crazy rabbit holes and looking up mythologies, you will see a lot of crossovers, similarities, tales of gods that are very similar with slight different variations, names, all sorts. I mean, if you look up nightmare gods or creatures or realms, you will find just a whole host of things that cross over from Norse to Greek, Native American, and everything in between. There's a lot out there, guys. But yes, we'll let you get back to the next question while I get some more chat.
The ambulance was brought up. So I'm wondering what you guys think. Are you guys disappointed that Tabitha was in that ambulance? I know Jeremy was. But what about you guys? Are you upset that Tabitha has gotten back to Fromville so fast?
Yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm not happy about it. I mean, I was hoping she would get something more, right, Spade? Like I was hoping she would get. I mean, the bracelet was cool and all because it gives us this weird little like, oh my god, another question mark. It made sure that the bracelet stayed relevant, so it wasn't just something that they threw away. Maybe the bowels will come back. Makes me think the bowels coming back. But anyways, so yeah, I don't know, man. Oh, what did she get? She got Henry. Mm-hmm. What she got? What else did we get?
Yeah, the bracelet and Henry. If she even held on to it through that.
That's crash. What I'm saying. I don't even know if we got the bracelet.
Some crackers.
Some crackers for her stomach. Yeah. I mean, she realized she's a chosen now, maybe? I mean, what did she take from the pictures, if anything? I mean, maybe the fact that there was an original bottle tree. They didn't even make it to the bottle tree. I was hoping we'd make it to the bottle tree, and then on the way back home, she was going to like get in the crash. And we was going to at least, or maybe they was, I don't know, wanting to see that bottle tree.
What about you, Spade? You're not happy, huh?
I'm not, because, just like with the show Survivor, how you get to go to the island or wherever they're at with something from the real world to use to survive on. Like Tabitha is basically going back empty-handed. She has really no real answers that's going to help people escape or deal with the creatures, the nightmare creatures now. Henry, he might not wake up from being unconscious, or the creatures may get him next episode. Another thing I'm unhappy about is there was probably a lot of stuff in that basement that they could have used that to maybe find out answers and have a conversation. Like there was a picture of a person or a man that had on yellow. Like, what's up with that? There probably was other stuff in there. It just seemed like I liked episode 1, 2, and 3. Don't get me wrong. I like this season, but it just seems like there's a lot of wasting time and it's a lot of like the characters not really trying to really win. Is almost like they're just doing things just to be doing it. And that was really my biggest disappointment. And then, you got the cop, her name is Acosta. She's going to be new to the show. She probably will turn out to be useless, but at least they have EMTs, which they'll probably end up losing their lives next episode. So yeah, I mean, they got more medical supplies. That's cool. But all in all, it just seems that so far it's seeming like this season is going to be like the other ones where they're going to give us stuff towards the end of the season just to justify another season, but no actual answers.
Oh, interesting. What about you, Raven? Are you disappointed that Tabitha was in that ambulance?
I was surprised because I thought it was plausible that they might drag it out till next season for her return. Or at least definitely later, not 2.5 episodes. Like you mentioned, we didn't get to see, they introduced the idea of there being an original bottle tree, and then never got a resolution on that. We were counting the people, on the theory that there's equity in the number of people. Tabitha was a -1, then they're back to a +1, or but back to 0. Of course, with Tian Chen, they were at -1. So it wouldn't shock me if, of the 4 people, the 2 ambulance drivers, Acosta and Henry, if they're going to get back to 0, they can only get one more person. So I think, it wouldn't surprise me if Henry dies and the two ambulance attendants, the 2 EMTs, also die. So that Acosta would be the only, or actually, yeah, they were at -2 after Tian Chen died. With Tabitha coming back, taking the place of her -1, they would have been at -1 because of Tian Chen only. So I think Acosta might be the only one that survives out of everybody. Yeah, we don't know that Henry's ever going to wake up. Maybe, or maybe Henry will represent a +1. We know they can be imbalanced for a short amount of time. It seems it's not immediate. So maybe Henry does survive in some way, and that indicates that somebody else has to die. Which, of course, the showrunner said that a few of our beloved characters. So not only does it not mean like a Nikki or that guy, that other guy that was out there helping carry food and stuff. Those are like red shirts. Those are randos.
Like no payoff, right? Like I feel like we got no payoff from that whole cliffhanger from the end of season 2. Oh my God, Tabitha's in the world. Now we see these paintings. She was down there for only a second, and all like boom, she's back into From.
Yeah, and those paintings were obviously, they were important enough to splash all over the trailer, but they just weren't. It wasn't important enough to give it more than a couple of seconds of screen time before she comes back. She did introduce the idea that it was just like a second level, that wherever Tabitha went to, the Camden Main is just another level of Fromville. And that one didn't really get explored too deeply. Well, one thing for sure is, we're going to assume that Tabitha lives. We're going to assume, hopefully, that Henry lives and Acosta lives. They're going to have to sit down. And they're going to have to get all the relevant people around a table and sit there and say, okay, you tell me every damn thing you saw. Tabitha, tell me everything you saw. What happened? How did it happen? What was the process? Because Tabitha's not really bringing in any, like I was hoping that she would at least get some understanding of the process of being ported to Fromville. If it was predictable and repeatable, we were hoping that she would get a little understanding about that. As it is, she's riding in the back of an ambulance, and they just so happen to be, what's going on here? There's a tree in the road. We don't get any understanding of the process, the mechanics behind any of that kind of stuff. The other thing is, Boyd is the only one who knows what those monsters do when they're hollowing out the inside of a person. He sat there and watched what they did, because we were talking about that last night. We don't know. We've seen gore spread all over the place, the rib cage cracked open and everything else. Jeremy seemed to think that they literally just shred up the organs, and that's part of the gore that they spread all over when the monsters are making a mess, I assume just to be like to terrorize people. But I'm thinking, man, I've seen, an autopsy or two, and we saw the one even with Smiley. We got a lot of stuff inside of us. There's a lot of, heart, lung, liver, kidneys, big organs that they'd be kind of difficult to like slice into ribbons and even if they were spread around, they'd be identifiable at least.
Yes.
So right now, but the other
There was
option
no
is
mess, right?
yeah.
Like there was no mess about it. Like she was just sitting there and you saw her open body. But like you said,
Yeah.
if they went in there and played around with her organs, wouldn't you see some of them strewn about?
Right, 30 feet of intestine on top of all the major organs and stuff. That's a lot of stuff. But then that begs the question: what are if they're not slicing, dicing, and spreading them around in tiny pieces? Then what are they doing with them? Well, Boyd is the only one we know that's privy to that information, who's seen that process go on and lived to tell about it. And he hasn't told a soul it, and yes, it might be traumatic to bring up that thing, but this is kind of the kind of information people need to know. If you're trying to understand the monsters, if you want to trap the monsters, you want to understand them. What the first thing when you're hunting an animal, the first thing you want to do is understand its behavior, its habits, its tendencies, its instincts. The monsters would be no different, I would think.
What about you, Scarlett? Were you disappointed that Tabitha was in that ambulance?
I mean, yeah, like I said, it wasn't what I was ready for. I was hoping to get a little bit more, but who knows? They see, like I said, I've been kind of like, oh my God, this is going to, I was kind of upset about this or that. And then the show kind of lets you know why they do what they do. Like, even I know a lot of people were upset because of the bile or didn't like season 2 the way it played out. But to me, there was a purpose for that because now we're seeing the aftermath of it. And even the bile, I think, will come back. I don't know how, but if that's in the monsters, there's got to be more to it. So who knows where they're going to go with Tabitha. I definitely hope it wasn't for nothing. Maybe, like some of you guys are saying in the chat, it's so that Victor will get to see his loved one again. And maybe even that will be something that they can use to break Victor with. So he now has someone he may care about. I don't know. Or maybe there's something more to it. Who knows? I was hoping, though, we would get to the bottle tree. I wanted to see that bottle tree.
I did, too. I was very disappointed that we didn't get to that bottle tree.
But let's see what else we got in the chat real quick before we move on. Blue Guns Rose says, I was at first, but now it makes sense to get Henry here. Hear me out. Henry shows out of the blue would be too crazy. We already have Mary here. No one else in From is having their family show up. So yeah, because it does kind of track. Maybe they're sending not just anyone, so this just happens to be the easiest. I don't know. Possible. Momo says, I was disappointed with Tabitha return, but I really do think it has to do with that moment of hesitation in the car. Yeah, because they definitely hesitated, and then he like tried to take off and wasn't paying attention. But it's just, oh God, it's so weird. The whole thing was weird. Like just the car crash. It makes you think, is it a simulation? Because she said what she said. But I don't think it is a simulation. But I can see where people are coming from.
He just steps on the gas too. That was like,
I know.
I think the only thing interesting that would be a takeaway from that is if Tabitha gets the fuck out of that ambulance and goes past the tree.
Look, there's the car.
Finally see somebody that walks past the fallen tree. What happened? Do you still end up in Fromville? Or was that the only way to circumvent getting stuck there? Was if you actually made it past the tree?
I can't wait to see what she does. But Peter Griffin says, yeah, that bracelet was like a glitch. Yeah, that bracelet's trippy. They still tripping with the bracelet. You could probably just have theories all out the day still with that bracelet. But I don't quite see time travel yet. But I do see that somebody, and not time travel, but maybe, I like the way Spades is saying it. Because we already know that she can see. Miranda's the key. See, I always thought it was Victor.
I don't believe it's time travel. And I don't think that bracelet proved to me that it was time travel. What about you?
No, I'm saying now I don't think it is.
Yeah, right?
Like, it kind of proves to me it's not. But I can still see it being time travel. It leaves it open for a lot of different possibilities. They still left it open.
And it seems like they drive on the way into Fromville. They drive around for a bit because all the ambulance scenes are in the dark, right? All the monsters are out at that point, and they're still in the daytime. I don't know how late in the day it is, when they see the tree, but they got to turn around. I wonder if they make a few circuits.
I think it's later in the day because
yeah.
But that doesn't mean that I don't know if they still have an hour, 2 hours, 30 minutes.
But come on, just walk past the tree. Just take a step over. What will happen? Like, I just want to see somebody walk past that tree and just see if if they keep walking, do you still end up in From? Am I the only one who's like curious to see if that makes a difference?
You're not. The chat's even saying it. Doggo Soul says maybe Tabitha hops out of the ambulance and runs past the tree, finding the From town, but in the real world, and it's empty. Ooh. She just takes off.
Oh.
Bam. Where am I at? Whoa, I done went through the hologram. I'm no longer like she went through the simulation.
Yeah. No crows. No
No.
crows cawing.
Well, it
Or
could
do the
be
crows
that.
get her? Sorry, go ahead.
Well, it could be that they go into town, and the creatures are there, but the townspeople are different or not there, and that would be like the new surroundings that we see as far as the description and everything. I would like to see that, because I'm still believing in time travel. I just think that Tabitha is going to be the one to put the dates in the bottles, and she's going to find a way to go out of Fromville and back in, trying to keep rinsing and repeating the process to get to the right quote unquote time period that her family's there.
Interesting.
Interesting, yes. Bill D says it's too early in the day for the ambulance to enter the town unless they are delayed there. Now, as I said, it's hard to tell. There's still daylight. Is it 30 minutes, an hour, 2 hours? I didn't look at anybody's watches. I don't even know if I got. Was there a watch somewhere in that ambulance for us to get a time?
We need a timestamp, damn it. We need a timestamp.
We do. We need a timestamp.
Well, I mean, looking at the shadow on the trees, so the sun's at an angle. It's either morning or afternoon, right?
I know it's closer to evening, right? Like because when they
Ravener's
crashed, it
reading
was
his
later
sundial.
in the day.
His sundial.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. This was before. It doesn't really help me anywhere.
But like Henry, but Henry and Tabby were in the kitchen in the morning because they had just woken up, right? And he's like, "You've been there all night," so it was early in the morning. I don't know how soon after.
And then they left.
Well, no, yeah, they just had that short.
outside.
Yeah, they had the bottle tree conversation. Oh my God, there's a bottle trees. So if he was up anywhere 8:30, 9 a.m., that whole process couldn't take more than an hour, right?
Well, is it correlating with From time? Because I believe Kenny and them said they had about 2 hours of daylight left when they were trying to get Christy.
Hmm.
And that was somewhat before this. I don't know how the episode's lining up. Her time with their time and From completely like it's.
Yeah, like they went back to the morning. They went to the afternoon in Fromville and then went back to the morning.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. It's confusing. Let's see what else you guys are saying because I know even
I know you guys are like it's crazy.
Vanessa?
And this actually makes me want to bring down my rating a little bit of the episode. Unfortunately.
Coming around to Ravener's side.
I am, because now that the disappointment of Tabitha being in that ambulance has like set in.
Oh snap.
And I am just like I'm like thinking about lowering my rating. And I'm like, damn it! It was that initial. It was like,
Even Vanessa saying, "Come on,
joining the side of the Dark
should have
Lord.
gotten to the bottle tree." Vanessa agrees. We get to the bottle tree.
You've corrupted me. You've corrupted me, Dark Lord.
That is what he does best.
Damn it! The DM always has to be on the side of evil. Damn it!
Henderson says, I have been saying that. What happens when you go past the tree? Yes, they're gonna. I wonder though, because are they gonna strap her down? Because she's already starting to get up. Like when she was like, "Oh no, the tree!"
One step.
She was already freaking out. And look at that cut, but she got messed up in that car crash a little bit more on the head. She got more head trauma. What is that going to mean? Is she going to start seeing the boy in white more? That like more concussions you get, the more trauma you get, the more you see shit.
She don't need drugs. She's just been bashed in the head a bunch.
Well, I'm just saying because a lot of our characters end up like, what was it? Ethan got messed up in the leg. He starts seeing some stuff. And it just seemed like some folks, not everybody. See, it's not like a broad stroke thing because not everybody falls in the category. But there's a lot of characters who seem to get messed up in one fashion before they see stuff. A lot of trauma.
True.
I don't know if it means anything though.
But I guess before we open it up to just a general discussion, I'm curious, Spade, has this episode changed any of your theories or thoughts for the season?
So honestly, I had a theory that Thomas Matthews was like an alternate timeline Thomas, and based off of this episode 3, I'm kind of like, maybe that's just like, evil entity messing with Jim. So that's going to be something that I probably won't, touch on anymore. I think that's going to be like a thumbs down, and everything else for me is pretty much solid. Everything is just up in the air, and we're not really getting definitive answers. And it seems like the writers are introducing more characters because the cast was already bloated as it is. If you really think about it, there's only 3 real storylines: Tabitha, Jade, Boyd. So you got people like Christy, Marielle, Randall, Donna. I want to see more Donna. You got the bus driver, Bacta. I guess she's the new cook. You have like a lot of characters, and they're not really doing much with them. Then they're adding new characters like Henry, which probably will be a nothing burger. I don't even think Henry will even come in contact with Victor the way the pacing's been going as far as the plot points. Then you got Acosta, the cop. She's been introduced now, and you got Julie, and then remember Sarah was MVP season 1. She's nowhere to really be found. All of a sudden, she's not hearing voices. Ethan had the Kamernackle. I hope I'm saying that right. That's gone nowhere. So it just seems like there's a lot of, we'll throw something at the wall to see if it sticks. It sticks, but we're going to pretend like it didn't happen and move on to something else, because now we have new plot points of Jade seeing this guy on this tree. They got the cabins in the woods, if you will. You got the living statues in the woods. Now it's snowing. Now there's not many animals coming in, and now and also you got even though they're finding food by these cabins, they're not walking around looking for signs of life. There may be people or things in the forest that are watching them, and now they're bringing them back to town. So they're not even worried about that, and that probably won't even be addressed. So I think the writers they're more focused on kind of making sure that we go to a particular direction without getting there that makes sense. And right now, even with the acting on episode 3, a lot of the acting didn't make sense. I mean, at this point,
I'll agree with you on that.
Yeah, at this point, you think Jade would have more of a leveled head, even though he's seeing crazy stuff. You think he'd be more leveled out because he's around humans. He's not seeing anything. He's freaking out. But then he sees something, and now he's kind of like not really freaking out. And then also Boyd now wants to capture one of the creatures. Okay, good. That's a good thing. But he's doing it by himself. So Boyd is not really having his hero's journey to where he's willing to trust other people, because he's wanting to quarterback everything to get everyone home, and he hasn't been trusting with information or resources, like talking more about Martin or telling people in the town that, oh, by the way, I killed the smiley creature with worms in my body. He hasn't really, progressed to really trust people, and it just seems like he's standing still. And then just the idea of, you would think that he'd want to go back to the place where he found Martin with the torch and look for clues with other people. Nope, not trying to do that. Or you think they would try to make a map of the forest. We're in season 3. No one's trying to make a map. So I'm not disappointed. I'm just more of a little bit frustrated, because you would think at this point we wouldn't still be at like the starting line. We would be more towards everybody going to the lighthouse and taking a gander, or everyone going to try to find out where the spider webs are, or all hands on deck with trying to capture this creature, not Boyd by himself, or maybe just doing more exploring versus people just kind of standing around talking, like being extras in a show, and just doing things that make sense as far as trying to survive and go home. And I really don't see that.
Yeah. You made 2 good points. I didn't understand why they didn't go to the tree that Tabitha went through. That I didn't understand. You're looking for Tabitha and you didn't go to the tree? That's where Victor left Tabitha and he saw her go through the tree. Why isn't that the first place you start? So I very much agree with you on that.
Because Victor didn't tell him that Tabitha went to the tree. Victor's holding the cards close to the chest, not telling anybody anything. But now he wants to have this powwow with Sarah, a teenager. I think she's a teenager. So you got this 50-year-old man with this teenager. Okay, Diddy, if you will. But it's just frustrating because it's almost like they're not acting like real people.
Right. And they made it pretty clear that like when he knocked on her door, they were not friends. They were essentially strangers. She's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, and he wasn't saying anything either. If you want to come in somebody's house, he wasn't really laying on the charm either. He's just standing there like a doofus. And then, she's like, well, would you like to come in? Yeah. Like, God damn, man.
No, I agree. I agree with that. Like, that was always my, like, Victor went with why isn't that the place you're starting? Like, go to where we know she was last. No, they go all the way out into like bumblefuck of the woods and like are nowhere near where where did they think she went? I'm very confused.
I was joking about that at the previous season though. I was like, Jim's gonna have, Victor goes out with Tabitha into the woods and comes back alone. You would think Jim was gonna have some questions about that. Which was funny, except that, Victor just never happened to mention that part of it. He never mentioned that he was there. All Jim knows is that he went to the woods. Hey, wait a minute. My wife went out to the woods with this 50-year-old dude, and then the dude comes back alone. And that's when you're looking for a shallow grave or something.
Mm-hmm. 1 second, guys. We do have one thing we do need to take care of tonight before it gets too much later. And Wild Majorum reminded me in the chat earlier, we do have to vote on the title of a song tonight. So there is a few song titles that were put into the Discord. So if you would like to add your title, go ahead and put that in the chat now. And me and Dana will kind of breeze through them and pick the top 4. Dana, you messaged me your favorite 2. I'll pick my favorite 2. Matter of fact, actually, there's enough of us on the panel. We'll all pick our favorite song title. We'll put everybody... I'm gonna read to you guys what we have in the Discord, and then we'll see what everybody. Okay. Raven's already got his. I gotta go. Let's see what else did we have. We had from BK in the Discord the Cicada Shuffle. Golden Child had Unkui Slide, and I think he's got another one. Which Unkui Slide we were actually going to do, so I forget that one's already in the bag. Scratch that. We're gonna do the Unkui Slide. I don't know what it's gonna be, but we're gonna figure it out. I think you want to do something called the tie a time traveling bracelet around the old faraway tree. And
That's
then,
a mouthful.
Pretty much. And then I'm not sure how this was going down, but Tyler B was doing something with I think Woody's Roundup. Let's see how you pass the test. Woody's Roundup, Breaking Boyd's Spirits. Not quite sure, but he went with Woody's Roundup. So I'm just going to call it Woody's Roundup. I don't know. We'll put it on the list. Wild Majorum, she had do the Smiley. And then we have All City Big had Silly Tilly. So those are in the Discord, and let me get back to you guys over here and see what else we got. What else we got? I gotta go back up. Okay, start with where Ravener is, and we keep going down it. So
I was waiting for Vic. That's my vote.
So you guys go ahead and put your. Oh, there it is. Yep. Jim can suck it.
Yep.
So each one of us on the panel, we will pick our favorite. Just pick the one that speaks to you the most. And then we will put those into a poll here very shortly.
I'm sold. Jim can suck it.
I'm gonna write that down. Dana votes. Jim can suck it.
Yep. Yep.
What about you, Raven? Are you going with your good old trusty? I gotta go.
Oh, Perth puts "My blood is your blood." That's another good line.
That is actually.
That'd be interesting to make a song out of.
People are gonna be like, what are they sacrifice at something?
Let's see what else you guys. I know there was a lot you guys put in there, and that's why I was like, gotta do it in the Discord because I was not able to go back and look at everybody's. I did write a few of them down. I know I had the Nkui Slide And I was trying to remember which other ones. We
As
had.
BK said, DMX already did it.
Papa Sock says just like before. Yep, up. Look, they're already into it. Dana, yours may win. One you
No,
and Vic
Jim
won't.
can suck it. That's all you need.
I don't know. Doc Hayes coming out with the hit the road, Jim.
Anything on that wavelength got my vote.
So suddenly Suno's gonna have a big influx of Jim can suck it. What the hell? Fuck Jim. To hell with Jim.
We gotta add him on Twitter. We made a fan song for you, Jim.
Drake, is this a song title? Flesh of my flesh, blood of my blood? Or are you just saying it for fun?
Nope, that's a DMX song.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you know. Walt. I don't know. See, I can't tell now if they're giving me song titles or we're just saying like random phrases in the chat. This will be fun. This will be fun for the chat all around.
Wrong one. It would have to be, what's his name? Ellis. Victor's got a gun.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yes. Love it.
You guys are fucking crazy. I think we opened up a can of worms, Scarlett.
Look, we're picking, Dana, so we each get our choice, and then we're leaving it up to the chat. So you make a choice, a good one, Dana. Well, you already picked yours.
Oh yeah, no, I'm Jim. Jim could suck it. That's my vote.
I like it. The Boyd is back in town. Yeah, I'm going with that one. I like it. It's my pick.
Yeah, that's pretty fly.
I like it. We go with that one. That's good. What else we got?
So
you click the next ones. I'm writing this down real quick. The Boyd.
Okay.
I will have to put this in there. Boyd is back in town.
Let's see what else we got. I have to scroll back up because I wasn't as. Oh, there we go. The red shirt shuffle.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is a good one. What else? Hitting the magic tree.
I think that's Susie. What's the fuck?
I can't with
Oh
Susie.
my god. All right. So let's see. Where are you from? First got where are you from? Playing on hope.
So I don't know, Raver. I don't know, Spades. What's your final choice? This is going.
I think it was My Blood Is Your Blood. I think that's what I saw. Yeah, I think like My Blood Is Your Blood.
Yeah, that was my choice as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that was 2 votes. 2 votes for Perth.
All right. Well, we'll see. All right, Dane. I'll let you pick another one.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna leave it to me? Jeez, I can't take the pressure.
Acid Trip to Fromland. I'll pick it if you can't. I don't know why.
Yeah, because
hey, we're gonna throw it in there.
There we go.
All right. Acid. All right. I'm fixing to put the poll up in just a few minutes. I'm gonna get it set up, and then we will give that a little bit to take while you guys continue to talk about the episode.
Sure. So, what do you guys think of Bacta coming back? Like with the whole nursery rhyme from my grandma. Like, do you think that's gonna go anywhere?
I think she. Okay.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was thinking. I just thought she checked in. That it was literally like a proof of life. She may as well have been had today's newspaper holding up to her face saying, "Yes, I'm still alive. I ain't doing shit." But
like, do you think? So you think it's just going to be another like throwaway?
Oh, at least I mean, just for this episode, at least I mean, they wouldn't have given her speaking lines if they didn't plan to do something with her. Just like Clara. I mean, Clara had another speaking line, and she's another one that doesn't have any. I mean, you're wondering why, but not only is she just present, like Matthias showed up a couple times, but he didn't always talk. But Clara, every time she's there, even in the diner scene, she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry," and then darted out when Kenny came in right after Tian Chin died. She always says something, so it's like it ain't just extra. She's
I don't trust that girl. I know people like to call Tilly the mole, called Donna the Mole. I really think there's something up with Clara because she's been in too many little moments that have either sent characters somewhere or given them information that they just happen to have needed. I don't trust her at all. I don't. I don't. What about you? You trust Clara Spade?
I don't. I think Bacta just replaced T and Chin, and that's the only reason why she had any speaking lines. Like I was saying earlier in my little rant, that they have too many characters, and they don't know what to do with them. And they're kind of like, we're giving you employment, but the main plot lines for the series are Tabitha, Boyd, and Jade. And it's a shame because why do you have all these other people if you're only going to really use 3? It may be time to like eliminate some of them, have the creatures, take them out or something, but they're just there. And they should use Donna more. Yeah. You want to know about Bacta, so let me go back to Bacta. I think Bacta is just going to like be the cook to replace Tien Chan, and that's going to be like what she's going to do until they decide to take her life and get rid of her. But I don't think they will do that because they need someone to kind of cook for everybody, I guess. Mm-hmm. So she probably going to have, job security till the end of the series, unless they find someone else who can come in and cook.
Interesting. I know. See, damn it, my rating's going down for this episode.
I mean, it wasn't a terrible episode. It wasn't completely terrible.
It's not.
It was to me more of a
feeler.
I didn't, and all the little things that kind of upset me really didn't take away from the episode. To me, it was just what brought it down for me was the fact that it was a transition episode. I don't even want to say filler. It was transition. They needed to build up some more stuff. So I put it at an 8. I'm sorry. I know I'm the most generous person when it comes to ratings. So that's why I have to have you guys on here because y'all are probably more, more accurate. I'm just very easy to please.
Spade, you brought up a lot of good thoughts tonight. That's really made me think a little more. Like I'm genuinely excited for this show, but you pointed out some real issues that I don't know if my excitement just didn't see, and I overlooked them because of my just genuine enjoyment of the show. But you've honestly made me think differently tonight.
Well, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to, the show is still awesome.
No, yes, it's still awesome, but you have definitely pointed out things that I overlooked.
Well, just kind of like I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm just like, you made me see some things in a different way.
Well, the issue with the show, as far as overall, like a macro way of looking at it, is they almost have like different writers per episode, and they pass notes to each other, but they don't always follow those notes. And then they have a different director. And then that's like the main issue that's been going on since like season 1, episode 1. Because, for example, what about the jock that recognized Julie? She recognized him. Where'd he go? I've seen the cowboy, I've seen the nurse, I've seen a bunch of other creatures, even the grandma. Where's Jasmine? Where does she go? Is she on vacation? Do they just like clock out and take leave whenever they don't want to walk around town or whatever? So you got the jock missing, you got Jasmine missing. What about going to the place where Boyd found the talisman for more answers? What about trying to explore the cave, since you got Tabitha and Victor, they saw cave paintings. Jade saw some visions. How come no one else tries to go down there? I mean, you got different groups of people who went out there and they came back unscathed. And then another thing is it's a lot of stuff that they could be doing and should be doing, but there's just too many characters. It's just too many characters. And I believe Tabitha probably didn't even tell anybody about the ghoulish children. Jade probably didn't tell anybody about the ghoulish children. They're not talking to each other. They're not communicating. The most that we have as far as one character talking to another and actual information being shared that was worthwhile as far as dialogue was the exposition dump of Henry. And we probably won't get that anymore for the rest of the season.
Yeah, Henry he was nothing but exposition. Because the first time, the first episode when he was talking about, oh, Miranda said this and Miranda said that, I thought, okay, maybe it was a husband who really loved his wife and like basically committed every single thing she'd ever said to him, to memory. But now he's just everything he said is a backstory exposition dump. He's like, oh yeah, of course I hear the bottles. Miranda called it the bottle tree. Like, well, no shit. It's the tree with the bottles in it. I was joking about that. I was like, yeah, this machine makes coffee. Miranda called it the coffee machine. It's like, well, yeah, okay. Fucking obvious.
Yeah. Where did you get that lunchbox?
I can't.
Is it okay if I ask a question to the panel and to the chat?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And just real quick, I just want to say right before you ask your question, the poll is live, guys, and I'm sorry if yours did not make it this time, but in the Discord there is a channel for the song titles, and after we do this one and we make this one for the Fromville, we will do another one. Well, after that, we'll see how this one goes. So get those song titles in because we will try to do this again one more time. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So Henry did not ask about Eloise. Is there anyone who is team Tabitha as Eloise?
Look, I don't want to admit it yet, okay? I'm in denial. I'm over here in my denial, so I'm going to sit here in my denial. I don't want it, so I'm in denial, but I don't discredit it.
Jeremy brought that into our world, and I haven't been able to get that out of my mind since.
I asked one question about the ages, and they jumped up my ass so hard, I ain't asking any more questions. It's like, wait, so Victor's 53. Catalina Sandino Moreno is 43. So, but and that's fine and everything.
My brother's 10 years older than me.
Right. But the when young Victor and young Eloise, if Victor was 10 in 1978, then she couldn't have been much more than 2 to 3 years younger than him. She wasn't 5 years old. Like young Eloise was not 5 years younger than young Victor. So, for me, that just didn't match up. And I just asked a question because I don't have any dog in the hunt. I was just like, well, I don't care, but they're like, no, they're playing him younger and her older. And I was like, okay, well, all right. Yeah. I don't know, man. But, yeah, I'll wait. I'm going to take a firm wait and see policy on that theory. Cause I don't know anything. I don't know. I do not co-sign it. I don't understand it. It definitely explains the bracelet. I didn't know if it was like a reincarnation, like you don't remember. The bracelet stuff is all a mystery to me. And then, then people are incorporating a whole bunch of stuff. It's like, yeah, it's time travel. It's, oh, she is this, but doesn't remember it. She was adopted by that. She got her accent she got her Spanish accent from the age of 7 with her adopted family. I don't know, man. I don't know. Nope. You're not getting me. You're not getting me on this one.
Yeah, 4070 says, yeah, I think we're going to just find out they're all related at this point somehow. God bless.
I was fucking around.
I could see where it is definitely there if that's where they want to go with it. They have laid the groundwork for it just off of what Jeremy was saying, and I know Taryn was out there saying it as well. So it's possible. I just don't want to accept it. Okay, I'm staying in my delusional box. I understand I'm being delusional. It's fine. But yes, Spades, let us know where's your thoughts on this? Where are you formulating where you're going with it?
So was that Scarlett that
Yes.
I just heard?
Yes.
So we still need to hear from, I forgot her name.
Dana.
Me.
Dana.
I am on the fence. I get the theory and I can see why people would think that, but I think that's too easy. Like, I think it's just too easy. Like, I don't know. So I'm more leaning towards no. I don't think it's going to be that. But I get where Jeremy got his idea from. Like, I get it. From that line when she was looking at the pen and said, this looks familiar to me. So I could see why people would think that. but I don't know. Like, I just feel like I'm very 50-50 on it. I could see it going either way.
So I've been beat up about this. I think Eloise, I think she went into the forest after Miranda's life was taken by either the creatures, an evil entity, maybe even what's his face? I've got the guy's name holding the book. But I think Christopher, right? Thank you. I think Eloise just went into the forest. Maybe she was kidnapped, living with the people who was in the log cabins, or just she's been in the forest the whole time. But people, I've gotten beat up about it. Eloise is Tabitha. Tabitha lost her memory, and it's just I don't know. Like I don't know. I've heard some theories that are like they're just going all the way left field, and a lot of people are.
My dog is squeaking her toy, so that's the crazy.
You think it was old 50-year-old Eloise that was making the noise outside the cabin when Jim and Kenny spent the first night there?
See, it could be.
The subtitle said footsteps receding, or footsteps walking away. So it wasn't. You could think so. She's just a feral girl.
I think people are definitely out there and they're watching them. Because I have a theory, well, not really a theory. It's not my own theory. It comes from a show called I think it's called 3 Planet Problem or 3 Body Problem on Netflix.
Yes, I love that show.
3 Body Problem.
So you all know how like the aliens, they don't make themselves known because out of fear that a hostile civilization may attack them. So I think that's what we're dealing with as far as actual people living in the forest. They don't want to make themselves known out of fear that these humans, entities, monsters, or wherever will attack them because they're living in the forest, no talisman. Those living statues, I think, are just like to mark their territory, kind of like scarecrows.
Yeah.
They're just hiding all the time. They probably have like their own way of communication, own language, and they're just like afraid to be seen. And that's what I think as far as that. I think Eloise might be with them and she doesn't even know Victor's alive. And the forest, how it shifts and moves. And the forest kind of allowed Kenny and Jim to find the log cabins and the living statues. And with Boyd and Sarah, it allowed them to go find the spider thing. And then they camped out. And they camped out. They got dragged to, I think, the spider. And then they, I got my timeline mixed up as far as that, but the forest is moving and shifting. So if Eloise did go into the forest, which I think she did, the forest would, in my opinion, prevent her from going back. So I don't think Eloise is Tabitha, y'all.
So the people that planted those veggies are just watching their shit get plundered by the townsfolk. They're probably going to want some revenge.
That's not for you. That's not for you.
Or they may be cannibals.
They left the food there to draw folks in. Look, I was saying that when we was streaming that, or not streaming, but I think it was, we were talking about on the last stream we did right before this episode. It was like Friday night. And I was like, yeah, what is the trap? Because it said mouse trap for this episode. And then we were saying, where is the trap? Was it going to be because Boyd, was going to go get him a monster and get trapped, trying to do that? Because I thought the ambulance was actually going to come into town. Like we was going to see Boyd and all that kind of stuff going after the ambulance. So then the next question was, well, was it the cannibal village? Was it a trap? And what about it was the trap? So yeah, definitely what you're saying is hitting on is like, what was the trap? Well, they definitely went to the village and they're hanging out there. They took down the little talisman thing or whatever they want to call it. That might have angered some folks. They might get hurt.
The mouse trap might have been the bear trap.
Well, that's true. So they're calling the townies like mice or rats.
Well, in my opinion, if you're living in the forest, let's say you have been in the forest of Fromville for generations and you're used to eating bugs, eating animals when you can, and perhaps even eating people. Yeah. They probably see a group of them and they're just kind of like waiting to see if one wanders off by themselves, hit them over the head. Because I'm not a cannibal expert, but from what I've heard and seen on movies, cannibals are more like feral and animalistic. No. like humans aren't that nutritious to eat. So a cannibal wouldn't be as strong as someone that is eating fruits, vegetables, and like healthy meat. So if we're dealing with people who are perhaps cannibals, they may be more inclined to be more strategic in how they hunt for humans as opposed to animals and opposed to like, vegetables and stuff. For all we know, Eloise could be with them, but she's not making herself known. And I'm leaning more towards Christy might not survive to the end of the series because of the way her leg is and the fact that if something does pop off, she's not going to be able to run. They're not going to be able to carry her. They're going to stand their ground. There are no fighters in their party, especially, Dale. He's a wisecrack, but there's just they're not working out. They're not like keeping themselves abreast as far as self-defense while they're there. I believe that like Christy being injured is going to be the catalyst to where they're going to start taking losses.
Oh, okay. I saw it as basically bringing her back to town. They're going to get her back to town, and then it's no more adventuring for you. You're too valuable. We can't lose you. She'll walk with a limp for, however long. But I think, and that's also going to be, because I think like in the expanded world, if they really lean into the expanded world and treat the cannibal village as like a colony or like an outpost, then that's also a way to separate Christy and Marielle, and then make inroads for Kenny, because they'll need a medic or somebody, a first aid person out at the outpost, and here's poor Christy with her injured leg, and the question being, is she going to get Ellis quality healing or is she going to get Jim quality healing? Because Ellis heals instantly. Jim walks with a limp for the remainder of his life. So we're going to see how fast Christy heals from this stuff. But I think I thought the whole bear trap was basically bringing Christy back to town and anchoring her there. And then, but I don't know. I mean, they may just plunder all the veggies, and then winter sets in and there's no reason to hang out at the cannibal village. I thought it was neat that they had the talisman hut, the little grotto or whatever where Boyd found the talismans. That's the halfway point, I guess, or because they talked about that. You're not going to make it. You won't make it all the way back to town. You'll be lucky if you make it back to whatever they called the talisman grotto. So they're expanding the map. They're giving us a sense of how long things take to get to each other, and Cannibal Village isn't just a quick jaunt. A quick little run from Fromville, from the town to there. It has to have some planning and some other stuff. But anyway, I know I'm going super long on that, but that was my take on it. Is I thought they're definitely putting Christy back in town and anchoring her there, and that may be an inroad to separating her from Mari. But man, I feel like the Kenny lovesick puppy thing with Christy is kind of run its course, especially with the introduction of Marielle. So I don't know if they're going to go back to that. I hope they don't. I like independent Kenny.
I do too. I like Kenny not wearing his high waters. I like pants that fit Kenny.
And the Oprah book club reading, I got to page 53. You'll love it. Whatever.
But now that you brought up Mari, here's a question for you. Okay, so we have Fatima pregnant with this weirdo child. We have no idea what the hell's going on with her. Mari is a pediatric nurse. Do we really think that it is just a coincidence that she was brought here because of her connection to Christy? Or do we think Christy was the bait to get her here because she's needed for Fatima?
That's some levels. That's a lot of levels. Because I know Jeremy had the theory that those veggies died not as a punishment for trying to escape or Tabitha escaping, but specifically to feed the demon baby with some rotted vegetables.
So now, ready? I'm going to take a thing from Spades. I'm putting my tinfoil hat on. So now, if Mari was here for Fatima, and the cicadas chose her. Do you think she's now connected to the hive mind to where they can flip a switch, and when the baby's born, they can kind of take her over to take the baby?
It's very much possible because the cicadas, they never left Marielle, Julie, or Randall. Randall even had remember he had I think it was a cicada that went to the bus window before Boyd got on there.
Yeah,
Because
they
if
were
they're
outside
hive
and they came
mind, right?
inside.
Who is to say that she's still not connected to that hive mind, and now she's gonna deliver the baby, and when the baby's born, something can maybe take her over, and she's gonna take the baby and bring it to the entity, bring it somewhere, do something with that baby in some sense. Because if Fatima's as important enough to rot the crops so she has sustenance, that makes me feel like that baby is important in some way. We now have a pediatric nurse brought in who was taken over by the cicadas. Could there be a further connection between that?
It's possible. Perth Comics says Tilly summoned the doctor. And Doc K says damn cicadas.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in the hive mind, at least as far as I mean, that ties into my theory that with Christopher, that symbol that tortured Christopher essentially plugged him into the hive mind of the monsters. That's why Miranda said to Victor, hide where Christopher doesn't know, whether he wants to or not. And then I also thought that there was a possibility that somebody else might be plugged in, whether they want to or not. Marielle makes a whole lot of sense, but we also know that stuff was going on prior to that too, because the same way the voice knew that Tabitha was digging, that kind of stuff, that stuff was happening before Marielle even arrived in town. So there might be more than one person plugged into the hive mind, whether they want to be or not. But I definitely that definitely ties into my theory, man. That's the only theory that I actually have, is that Christopher was essentially tormented by the vision of that symbol till it kind of drove him insane, and that kind of gave the town or whatever evil entity access to his brain. So he knew everybody's hiding spot. That's why it was important for Victor to hide where nobody knew. I don't know. I mean, it may not have been that Christopher was, overtly pointing out everybody, but they at least had access to his brain, where they knew where he was, where he knew what they knew, what he knew, and he knew where everybody was hiding. That also kind of, I just worked that out last night, actually, kind of like talking it through. Because I always thought, well, there had to be there when Victor came out of the root cellar, after Miranda left him, it was daytime, and then the next morning it was only the overnight that before he came outside and saw everybody strewn about the streets dead. And the theory was, well, how would everybody be outside on the ground all over the place, unless, and then that's where the eclipse theory came in. Yep. Well, there must have been a way to turn there must have been a way to turn night or day into night, and that's how everybody got caught unawares. But we all know that eclipses don't sneak up on you. It's not like suddenly daytime and then suddenly nighttime. It goes super slow. But if they had access to everybody's hiding place by tapping into what Christopher knew, everybody was probably hiding, and this is pre-talismans. Everybody was hiding in their hiding places. They were getting flushed out. The monsters knew where to go to find them, using Christopher's knowledge of hiding places. So that's why people were caught out in the open, because their hiding places were compromised. So that's what happened. They got caught running from place to place, or they got caught out in the open. That's why they were out in the streets, out in the open, because their hiding places were compromised. They could either hunker down and die where they were hiding, or try to run away, and still ended up getting caught. So that's my theory on how people got caught. And I'm hoping we find out more about, I mean, if my theory about the projector and stuff is right for episode 4, that's going to be incidental to other information about Christopher that Victor has. And that's who it's going to, and I think that's why I think Sarah has to be the one to tell Jade, because they're going to connect the symbol that Christopher was drawing to the symbol that Jade is drawing, and it's going to be Sarah's job to verbalize that in a coherent way to Jade, because we know Victor's not not very eloquent with that kind of stuff.
No, that's what I'm saying, because I remember you saying about this hive mind, and that's what made me think that what if the cicadas now tap these 3 into this hive mind, and they're going to activate them in some way.
That, I mean, it's entirely possible. I mean, to make them a minion or to make them something.
Yeah, right.
And that was the whole point of that Randall scene in the bus. Just like back to doing her proof of life, the cicadas did a proof of life. Oh yeah, we're not only just from season 2. They weren't done with this in season 2. We're back for season 3. So that's really the only reason for them to have appeared to Randall in that scene.
Right, because they could have made Mari anything. She could have been a friggin' stripper on the stripper pole, but they made her a pediatric nurse, and we have Fatima pregnant.
Yeah, a specific set of skills that's relevant only to one person.
Right, and they made crops so she can eat and have sustenance to grow this baby. You would need somebody with more skill than just, Christy, if there's complications in some way.
So the entity or the bad or whatever it is has a vested interest in keeping Marielle around, or keeping that baby alive. So
Correct.
They bring in the specialist they need to make that happen. Interesting.
Correct. Right? Like, am I wrong? Is that the tinfoil hat?
It doesn't not make sense, right?
I don't know.
Hey, you can fit me just about anything in this show. You get me going down a rabbit hole, I'm on board.
Is that too like I don't have many of those tinfoil hat moments to where I'm like
Snuggie says so from is a plot convenience playhouse.
I'm more impressed that the writers would write that, though. I mean, that's a level of multi-level writing, that they could even conceive of such a thing. Oh yeah, we'll bring in this fucking rando character in the final scene of the season that we ain't even going to address her sole purpose in being till 4 episodes into season 3. That's pretty crazy.
I don't know. I just thought that it was too coincidental that you have Mari, who says her skills are what they are. You have Fatima, who's pregnant with this unknown entity. We have something making the crops just so she could eat. She wasn't able to have kids. Now she can. It's like, I don't know. I just feel like there's too many connections for it not to be the case.
Okay, here's a question then. Let me ask this one then, and I'll ask this one to Spade and everybody else. Do you guys think? And the first thing that we thought when Fatima started eating those rotten food, like half the people said, demon baby, and then I knew about Pica. I was aware of Pica, but then other people are really, really leaning into Pica. The first thing I said about Pica was I think it'll be a cheap cop-out if they try to come up with a scientific explanation for her eating this rotten stuff and then try to explain that aspect, explain her doing that. And sure enough, they're doing that with Tilly. Oh, I used to lick eggshells, and that's they're doubling down on Pica as a rational, scientific, realistic thing that actually happens kind of explanation. Does anybody actually believe that Fatima is just happens to be afflicted with Pica?
No, because Pica takes place when you don't have access to nutrients and like regular foods making her sick.
I mean, there is, just the morning sickness, but she's having it mixed in with that. Like, it's almost like she's got 2 symptoms, right? She's got the excessive morning sickness and then the Pica. Like, I don't know. It's possible, but man, why are they gonna play us like that she ain't got a supernatural baby? They know we want her to have this crazy demon baby. They don't want to be playing games like that.
Question: I thought Pica was like when people. I thought Pica was when like people eat baby doll heads and like
it's weird things.
Like
it's anything non-food. It's any non-food
anything
item
that would be. I guess would be just taboo, wouldn't it?
It could be like starch. It could be paper.
Yeah.
But rotten food is still a form of food. So I don't see how that would be considered Pica.
Yeah, I'm not on the Pica bus either. I think what she has inside of her is like a parasite. And if she's only eating non-edible items that are not nutritious for a human. So if she continues on that path with, let's say she has a parasite in her, she's going to be in my opinion, Tinfoil Hat time, she's going to be looking like the kimono lady. She's going to be, swollen face. She's going to be losing weight. And this parasite in her, like this entity that could have got inside of her by, having random partners in Colony House, or maybe the Mary Jane that she was, puffing on had something to do with it. Maybe the soil that was used for it to grow it, that affected her. And for some reason, only her. I just don't really see it actually being an actual baby.
Well, no, I mean, it's definitely going to be, I think it's the entity or a way the entity's trying to be reborn into this world. I mean,
Agreed.
winter being changed, or the season being changed to winter, her having essentially a barren wound before she came into From, and eating rotten death food. Yeah. To me, those are 3 signs of a triangle, so to speak, of death. So whatever she's birthing is and then this place just emulates that death and rebirth sort of cycle. So I don't know. I just see it as something that's going to be kind of like a death baby, so to speak. I'm saying baby because I didn't want to call it a parasite. It's still going to be born. What was that show we're going to talk about?
It's a parasite.
Look, she's still birthing.
It's eating rotten food.
I know, but it's still a baby. It's a godly baby. I didn't say a good god. If there's evil gods, there's good gods in lore. It's going to be one of the bad ones, but it's still a baby.
So instead of the Most High, it's the Most Low's baby.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Here's what I think. What I'm hoping for and crossing my fingers for is Fatima gives birth to the kimono lady
with the kimono on.
Did you see the Mayfair Witch? Have y'all watched the Mayfair Witch? Because in the Anne Rice one, they show her, going through. Of course, the book is totally different from the show, but I just watched the show, and the way that the girl ends up getting pregnant to essentially her baby, she is birthing that Letcher, the guy that is sort of the magical demon / he's a whole backstory that they don't fully explain in the show, but in the books it's even more explained in depth. But he's just this weird entity creature. And through generations of being with this family, he had to wait, like, I don't know if it was 7 I forget how many generations it was, but he had to wait it might have been 13. I forget what the number was, but he had to wait a certain many generations for the right daughter to be born. And he, in a dream state, she went into a dream state. He impregnated her, sped up her pregnancy, and then she was at the tomb of her great, the original witch. And at her tomb, she was the midwife. The original witch was the ghost spirit midwife of her. And she birthed the child, which was Letcher, the demon. And she's going to raise in this new season, this Letcher demon baby as her own, to have him. Basically, they're entwining their powers. And I don't know the full story, but that's where we at in the season with that, as far as the end of season 1. So that's what I'm saying. It's still a baby. That's why I was getting the baby thing. She legit birthed a demon baby.
So do you think Fatima was brought here because of her barren womb? Because that was the only way to birth this? It needed to be barren in order to put the entity within someone?
Yes. Along with winter possibly needing to be taking effect. All of these
things
are sort of... Mm-hmm.
Interesting, Scarlett.
And real quick, before we go any further, guys, because I know we're losing some of you guys in the chat, and I want to just go ahead. We're going to close the poll, and it looks like the Boyd... It's the Boyd is back in town.
Dog, come on, guys.
Hey, look, Wild Majorum was in there calling. Look, she was trying to get it for you, Dana. She was telling them to vote for Jim. Suck it. But no, they didn't want to.
Right there.
They went.
Oh my god.
I'm kind of happy with the selection myself. I like it. This is gonna be a fun one because there's so many clips of Boyd that we can choose from. This is gonna be fun.
Oh.
But that is the winner, guys. Winner. Hang on. Wait. We got a clip for that. As a matter of fact, we got a Boyd winner clip.
Guns N' Roses. That's right.
We got a Boyd winner clip.
My blood is your blood now, motherfucker.
Boyd, the winner.
How close was it? Please tell me at least Jim Kensucker came in second.
I think he was tied. Hang on, I can go back. What was it? Let's see. So the Boyd is Back in Town got 41%. My Blood is Your Blood got 23%. And Jim Can Suck It got 21%. And Acid Trip to Fromland got 13% of the vote.
All right, I'll take that. It was at least up there.
He's wanting it hardcore. It quite cause. It's okay though, you guys. Because after we do this one and in the next couple streams, we will try to start. I want to say Friday night. I have to make sure, but Friday night we will maybe try to open up the program, and I can play on a little bit while we
Friday
talk
night
about.
We're doing the movie.
Or is it this Friday? No, I thought it was next Friday night.
This Friday.
Then maybe. We're gonna figure that out. Sorry.
But for horror fans, we're hosting a Halloween horror movie night this Friday. So anybody who wants to come and watch Hell House LLC, I don't know if anybody's aware of that movie. It's a really good Halloween horror movie. And me and Scarlett are going to host a watch party in the Discord and stream this awesome Halloween movie just to get into the Halloween spirit a little bit.
Yes. So we might just schedule just a random pop-up stream on Wednesday, because I think we may be doing some D&D action on Thursday, getting back into the swing with that. So maybe we'll do like a we're going to do a Fromville song creation stream. We'll talk about the show a little bit more while we're doing it. And yeah, so Wednesday night, I'm not sure the exact time, but it'll probably be around about around the same time. We'll go 9:00 Eastern. That way I'll make sure we're good to go. But we will set it up for that. So Wednesday night at 9 Eastern, we will do a little Fromville bonfire hangout, get together. We'll start crafting some lyrics. We will get them. So y'all start thinking about it. The Boyd is back in town. Start thinking about your lyrics, what you kind of want in there. We'll have the AI help us if we need it. We got all the tools that we need to create the best Fromville song ever. And then we'll start working on that beat next. So one stream will work on the lyrics, see if we can't get that popped out. And the next week we'll work on that beat and see if we can't put it all together. And hopefully by next Friday, if we can do it, guys. We're gonna do but not this Friday, but by next Friday we will have the song released. So I can't wait. I can't wait till Wednesday now, Dana. I'm so excited. I like creating things. It's fun. But you'll see. What else would you guys like to talk about before we close it down tonight? What's some of our last thoughts, theories, complaints? What we got?
Yes. Any final thoughts? I apologize if you hear my dog crying. She's trying to get my attention. So if you hear Nico crying, it's just my dog.
I just hope that we get an answer to where Martin came from. He had the worms, and while he was in that dungeon, and then after he passed the worms on the Boyd, I guess the worms are keeping him alive. He just disappeared. Hopefully, we get some more information about Martin, and a shout out to, I guess it's Scarlett doing the slides. You have like 1 million slides.
Yes. I've got file folders out the wazoo.
That's all Scarlett.
Yeah, the CIA may call you one day and be like, "Hey, you need to come work for us."
No, I don't work for government, and I don't want them looking at me. I don't get along with government. Hey, my mom is a government employee, so yeah.
Man,
not a big high power when she works for the health department. So trying to open a restaurant, she's coming for you. No, I'm just kidding.
No, but thank you guys. Thank you so much, Spades, for joining us. And I do hope you come back any Monday night you would like to.
But hang on, Dave. Before we end, I wanted to touch on what he was saying about Martin, because I totally agree. Martin was sus. They need to tell us if he was real or not, because way back when me and Dana first started coming on streams, Jeremy's and stuff, we was ready to take a hot chip over this dude, which I kind of regret saying that at the time, but it was heated. It was just one of the moments you kind of regret saying things, but you said it because I think he wasn't real.
Me and Scarlett,
Look,
it's what bonded us.
I don't think he was. I think he was real originally, but he died so long ago that the the entity used his body to fuck with Boyd, to make him, the kind of way he was using Abby, the same way he was using, I think, Tom and Father Kotry to kind of mess with their heads a little bit. So I think he served his purpose to release the cicadas, got Boyd to totally put his guard down. Like, Boyd should have shot him. He's like, oh, you got a gun. That's so nice. You should go ahead and shoot me. And Boyd's kind of like, nah, why would somebody say that? Get them to touch the box. Totally sucked.
So if Martin didn't have those worms in him keeping himself alive, he'd have been a skeleton like the other two guys that were down there with him. That were skeletons.
I don't think he was there, like, physically there. He's there like Abby was there.
But he still could cut Boyd with his fingernails and put the worms in.
Yeah, because the other stuff that we've seen, like, they interact with objects. I mean, the visions interact with them.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about this world, even though some can't see it, it still seems to be interactive. The ballerina was interactive with Boyd. It seemed to touch him.
Mm.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong about that. And we
Martin,
don't have. I'm just glad I don't have to eat. I don't have a hot chip to eat.
Yep, me neither. I'll have no hot chip. But me and Scarlett were
we
like,
did say that.
Yeah.
We were so positive with that.
Martin
I was hoping that we were going to see him. Like, I was like, okay, well, maybe he is real. We're going to see him in this cannibal village. Nah, Martin still ain't popped up nowhere. I'm like, well, where the hell is this dude at? The body had to pop. If he was real, if it was his mind stuck up in this place, just like Marielle and Randall and Sarah, that his body had to still be somewhere. We ain't seen a body, a skeleton, nothing, nowhere in this town. But he's sure to get them cicadas out to the town. And they still plaguing the town. Sorry. That's all I got to say on that.
Martin,
I digress.
I swear, I kid you not. I have a feeling like Martin, we're going to see Martin again, and it's going to be the reveal of the entity. That's the form that the entity is going to take, because that is going to fuck with Boyd so hard. Like, if Boyd sees Martin and Martin comes out of like somewhere and he's just walking and talking like, haha, see, told you there was worse things in the forest. And yeah,
but he's all dapper. He's got like a
right?
on or something.
Like all like suave and G, like, oh, I told you. Like, told you that they're just the tip of the spear because I'm holding the spear. Like some crazy shit. Like, wouldn't that be crazy?
I would be surprised. You already know. Me and you was on board with the sussing of Martin. I don't like him because he wasn't even in the same spot. Like, well, at least the way I saw it when we went back and looked at all those pictures of the dungeon, and you compare it when he goes down there and he first sees Martin, where he's located and where the other two bodies are located, and then we come back to when the three are down there. It's like totally different. They're not even like in the same area. It's like they should have, all three should have been in the other, like there's two bodies and there should have been a third with those other two bodies. Martin was separate from them two. There was a little division between them that's not in that other room where essentially the three end up, but it's like that whole room changes from when Boyd goes in the first time to when Boyd comes back when the three are in there. So whole situation was sus. And then all you had to do the whole time was just to break that music box. So the music box is sitting there playing, but Martin, who's trying to tell him about all this evil shit that he knows about, but then doesn't tell him to break the music box. No, he wants him to touch that music box. Not only did he get him to touch the music box, he did a ritual, touched the music box. Boyd looked in the mirror. Then he gave him the blood oath. Ritual complete.
Mic drop. Boom.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to find those pictures too. I'm trying to get back. Where's the cave?
Mine was a little different. Like, I honestly thought the whole time that the entity was maybe attached to that music box in some sense of it being trapped in a little bit of a way, because it was too fucking easy for Boyd to destroy that music box. Like, if the entity didn't want that music box destroyed, it literally was like, oh, stop. Please don't destroy the music box. Oh, okay, smash. I think it wanted that music box destroyed the entire time. And that music box released something into From. That's the only thing that me and Scarlett differ on when it comes to the music box. But I don't know. What about you, Spade? You think there was anything weird about Martin, that music box?
I think the music box was a beacon, because if you go back to the scene of the RV, when the music box was playing, there was that thumping underneath the RV. And then the thumping stopped and the creature stopped advancing once the Abby apparition showed up. No. They stopped when the music box was playing, and I think the thumping underneath the RV stopped when Abby appeared. So I think Abby is separate from the music box, and the music box was kind of like a doorbell, if you will. Like you ring a doorbell, everybody goes to the door, or they're curious about the door. I think we just never really saw what the music box was supposed to actually draw outside of the ballerina with the worms and the cicadas that were in the pot and the kimono woman that was putting Elgin underwater. So I think like Boyd destroying the music box was eliminating that beacon, but it was like Fromville was going to be angry by that because it didn't want him to do that. I think originally when Boyd was on the bottom of the well and he was talking to Martin and somehow the rope got down to him, Martin said, if I help you out, will you help me out? Boyd agreed. Boyd gets to the top. Martin's like, okay, I want you to take my life. Boyd said no, and that's what made Martin want to give him the worms, which basically was a curse. Because if you think about it, the worms and Boyd were kind of like, even though they're curing Boyd, they're feeding on him. Boyd gave the worms to Smiley Creature. Smiley Creature transcended from being a creature that walks to cicadas that fly around. So the Smiley Creature got leveled up to cicadas. And then the bile inside the creature put on the bullets. Boyd fired it at the cowboy creature, the nurse, and all the other creatures. They got upgraded, and now they're nightmare creatures to where they're strategic and they work as a team as opposed to just acting like pack animals and just walking around saying different phrases and being friendly. So it kind of all is all in the idea of you should be sacrificing things in order to gain something, which Boyd has not been able to do thus far.
See, we
I
got
gotta stop talking to you,
I know. Did y'all
make
killing
my mind
it,
on
man.
so many things.
I'm telling you, between the panel and the chat, this is why I love this show because
chat's on fire.
It's killing it. See what you guys got to say. See, we got Tiptoe saying, I think Martin was from a different parallel universe and real. It's why when Boyd walked into the tree, it took him to a parallel universe. And when he walked out, he was back in his time.
Boom.
Oh.
I've been telling people that.
And see, I've seen it as layered like dimensions. So hey, I definitely, the parallel universe can definitely be the possibility. I saw it as the layered dimension. So like, because it's timeline running, because it's all these timelines, whether it be where Camden, Maine is from, as in where the townies are, or where Martin was, these are all, the timelines are running the same, right? Like they're not in a whole nother timeline. It's not like just somewhere, some way off place, although it's not where you can perceive it unless you go deeper down the level, right? So it's another layer deeper in the dimension that you can't see unless you perhaps have something that can guide you there. So
because he had the torch was able to give him access.
So that's the key. So even her going to Camden, Maine and sort of ending at where she is, a lunchbox would be sort of a key. So it's almost like items are keys in order to get you to places. But they have to be specific? I don't know, because it's very weird that they're particularly using the bracelet now and the way that they're using it, the lunchbox, the torch, and I'm ready to see what the next key is going to be. If they're going to introduce another realm in this, or another dimension, another layer, another parallel sort, whatever we want to call these things, they're going to let them explore more. We're going to find another place. And is that going to be like, they're going to have another item from that place? Are they going to remember, will Boyd be able to go here? Is he going to remember, hey, look, last time I took something with me, maybe I need to pay attention to stuff and take something with me this time. So I'm really curious to see. And I'm actually even more curious to see on this next episode. I don't know if it was for a fact, but back, I believe it was episode 1, it looked like Tabitha had a talisman in the lunchbox. So if they are going to end up in this ambulance and it's somewhat close to nighttime, will this be able to help them? But then I don't know. It'll help me know if she had a talisman or not, if she attempts to use it. But maybe the people like the cop, the EMTs are like, no, you're crazy. What are you
And
talking
bust
about?
out and
don't,
break the seal.
Yeah. So I can't wait to see if the talisman's real or not. It was something that I saw, but I don't know. Very quick shot of it. So I can't wait to see, man.
So final question for the panel and to the chat. What are you most excited for in the next episode? If there's anything that you are excited to see for the next episode. We'll start with you, Ravener. Anything you're just absolutely like excited to see?
Well, nighttime scenes are always good. Nighttime scenes are when stuff actually happens, and we definitely have that to look forward to if the trailers are any indication. Probably more so. I think that will be more exciting, probably even more satisfying than whatever Victor and Sarah are doing up under the blankets. I think that's going to be. I think it promises to be something cool, but I don't. Somehow I just don't feel like it's going to pan out, or it's going to give us what we're looking for or what we expect. So yeah, their nighttime scenes seem to always be well executed and cool. We're going to see at least a little bit of slasher gore. At least one or more of the EMTs is going to go. We'll find out what happens to Henry. And yeah, we'll find out, I guess, what happens to Tabitha if she's actually riding the ambulance all the way in, if she bails out, like you guys were talking about, if she bails out and tries to cross the tree on foot and actually gets to the empty Fromville, like almost like the one. I would have thought it would be the one that she dreamed about when she was in the lighthouse, in that like quick vision, but she wasn't wearing winter clothing. She's got her full on homeless gear in So, but yeah, man, I'm waiting to see what happens at night. I want to see the nurse taunting Boyd. You can't save them all. I want to see where that all goes. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to in number 4.
Awesome. And what about you, Spade? What you looking forward to? Anything excites you for this next episode?
Yes, but just Will Smalls made a good point. The note with 1864 was first key access point. Boyd had it on him from the bottle, one of the bottles from the bottle tree when he went into the faraway tree. And that may be the reason why he went to the well. It was a really good point. So as far as the future episode, I want to see Boyd actually catch one of the creatures, have he or she or it contained, and have a conversation to see where that goes.
Nice.
What about you, Scarlett? What you most excited for in this next episode?
Oh, it's so hard for me to answer some questions because there's so many juicy things happening. Like you said, there's so many storylines. So if I had to pick, I'm always interested in anything to do with Jay. Jay's just my favorite guy on the show anyway. So I love me some Jay. Want to see where his madness is going to go. But I'm also curious to see what's going to happen with Ethan. Oh, poor little Ethan been so traumatized. He's starting to talk about death. Daddy didn't know how to handle it. It's kind of scolding him and stuff. He didn't handle him properly. I don't think he did anyways. As a parent, I kind of look, it's a hard, tough situation for the child. Now he's starting to look at death weird. If his mother is coming back, I would say it's going to help him out, at least give him that hope. But if she doesn't make it back, or if they're in some weird other version of From timeline, who knows what kind of fuckery is going on with that. I don't know. I feel for Ethan because he might be going. Prior to me knowing she was coming back into From, I was going to say Ethan was going down a dark path, and I was really worried he's going to shoot somebody or stab somebody, or I don't know. He was worried. He was talking about what the inside of the Tian Chan looked like, and that was just alarming. And Jim was not parenting properly. He was not handling that situation to make him, understand death properly. Didn't want him to talk about it in a healthy way, and I was just like, oh my God, this kid's going to turn into a psycho killer. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens to Ethan a little bit. See if they're going to actually take him down that dark path, or if he's going to actually now come back and be a little hopeful with Tabitha.
Interesting. I actually am most interested to see what happens with our little go get some vegetables group. If they're stuck in this other place overnight now, Jade kind of fucked with the totems. Does that mean like this barrier or something around them is maybe broken, and the spirit that was like nailed to the tree is somehow released in a form? or if we're gonna get more to what those footsteps were when Jim and Kenny were first sleeping in the cabin. Like, are we gonna get another visit? Are we gonna maybe see something? I would like to see more about the other group a little bit. I want to see if something's maybe gonna attack them. Is it a visit like Spade said, others sort of thing, which could also be a connection to Lost, but I'm not gonna put that tinfoil hat on. I want to see more about that group and what might possibly be around that area. Is it something different? Is it a new type of monster? Is it another group of people? I want some goodies when it comes to outside of our town.
Yes.
Like, give me more of the outside. Give me more of the forest. I want to see what more, because Martin's saying that there's worse things out in the forest. I want to see what those worst things could be. And is this going to be our first taste of it?
Ooh, could be. Let's see what you guys in the chat are saying. Mother Dragon says, Randall and Boyd bus watching. Yes. What are they going to get to see together? And we know that they're both ready to get their pound of flesh, or at least see what is out there. So I can't wait to see what they do as well. See what else you guys are saying. Yeah, the tarot reading. Are we going to get back to that? Will they get to have another one, Woodrow? I hope to see some more tarot cards, see if we can't see something. 40 Stephanie says, Evil Ethan to evolve Victor and Sarah's secrets. Yes, what will be in the box? What kind of videos or pictures will we get to see? Let's see what else we got. Tiptoe says, I'm excited for everything. I feel like episode 4 is going to be a pivotal and important episode. Also, what will happen in those tiny log cabins with Jade, Christy, Dale, and Kenny? Yes, what will happen to them overnight? Night is approaching. Christy's jacked up a little bit. They messed with the little voodoo stand here. I don't know if it even has powers or not, but I wouldn't. Look, I love Jade. He didn't completely mess up because Christy shouldn't have chased after him. Should just let Jade go off into the woods. I think he would have been all right because he's chosen. He would have made it. She should not have went after him. But now she's messed up. Kind of Jade's fault. Sort of. I don't know. What do y'all feel about that? Was it Jade's fault that Christy got messed up, or should she just left him to go run out in the woods?
That's a hard one because that's Christy's nature. She's a healer. I could see, had it been anybody who ran away in that state, Christy would have tried to stop them and try, because she did say you're going in the wrong direction. So it was nobody's fault, but I think Jade is that's going to weigh heavy on Jade. Because Jade's going to take it as his fault.
What do you guys think? If you have a thought, I don't know. I kind of threw a random question out there.
I blame the writers because Kenny and company were on a mission to go into the woods, into the forest. Donna is an actual hunter. We saw her gutting, like I think it was maybe it was a deer or a cow or something in the kitchen. Yeah, in the kitchen. She Donna was actually built and made for scavenging and hunting. Again, they've underutilized her because Donna would have been looking for the bear trap. Donna would have been looking for signs of life in the snow. Donna would have been scavenging the area. She would have been a better fit. I blame the writers.
She had to pull straws. They had to pull straws.
Was it luck of the straw?
That's what was so bad about. Why did they have to pull straws? Donna at this point should have been telling who is going where, right?
Yeah, she should have assigned it.
She should have been the leader. I agree with you. She should have been going. She should have said, I'm going and I'm handpicking who's going with me, because Jay didn't need to be out there at all. He's all fucking crazy, kooky. They had to put him in the damn jail cell, night before or something like that. I agree with you, man. That messed up.
And what's crazy is Donna and Dale are married in real life. This would have been a great time for them to have a scene together. And,
where she wasn't punching him.
So yeah, Donna's underutilized. I hate that. It just seemed like they kind of had the worst people to go out there. And I think Boyd is going to use Randall for bait, because remember, Boyd was asking Randall to sleep in the I think the sheriff's office to stretch his legs out. He wanted to take the bus to trap those things. I think he took the talisman from the building, he'll have 2 talismans in the bus so that when they're going in there to get Randall, Randall runs out. I guess talisman on the outside of the building on both sides to like quote unquote trap him in. And I think that's what he's doing. And I don't know what Boyd was making on the inside while he was building stuff or whatever, but that to me, that's Boyd's plan, is to use Randall as bait.
Okay. I mean, Randall seems like he's ready to do anything. He doesn't seem to mind. Well, sort of. I don't think he's kind of done some really crazy things, but he didn't seem to mind to be throwing himself out there as a hero. What was that, episode 1 when everybody was running around outside over the animals? He's honking the horn. He's been staring down these monsters. He done told them, you can't fucking get me because I got motherfucking rock in the window. Can't touch me. So he's kind of, I don't know, ready to see what Randall's about. Like, we kind of get to see him, but maybe now working with Boyd, he'll finally get to play a little bit, as opposed to being sort of questioning everything that's going on and not really trying to see what's going on.
Being problematic.
Yes. Look, I thought he was going to turn around. See, Donna had him pretty good, right? She had his number. She told him, look, it's going to take you a little bit longer to figure things out, to really believe in what you're seeing here. But at some point, you're going to get it. So I'm hoping now that the cicadas have kind of messed with him and he's still seeing the cicadas, which, by the way, that just reminded me of something. Okay, I got to get back to Randall when we first see him right here. What does it look like to you guys? What is he carving? Is it a face, a head, like the totems? Maybe he has seen the totems. It's got 2 eyeballs and a nose and a mouth. I got to get a better picture of it. But it's a wooden skull shape, and there's like 1 eyeball here, another eyeball here, the nose, and like a mouth. I don't know if that's really what it is. That's what I saw.
Oh, you think he's trying to see if he can replicate the totem?
Well, he knows something.
Talisman?
He's acting like he knows stuff. And the cicadas is messing with him, so maybe he thinks this can stop the cicadas. Because he goes to working on this, and then the cicadas pop up. He's carving. He gets up, and he hears the cicada over here. He throws his little wood, whatever this thing is he's carving over here, down, and then he goes over here and starts playing with the cicada. Still has the carving knife in his hand. And then he gets attacked. So I don't know what that was.
Interesting.
My eyes have deceived me before, as we have found out recently. I thought one of the paintings had a person on it. Turned out it was a caulk gun in the basement that was just laid over the painting, sort of. Or over something. Yeah. I learned real quick it was a caulk gun. It's a fun night. So I don't know if it's a skull head one of the totem heads. But I just happened to see him look like he was carving the eyeballs. And I was like, what in the hell is he carving? I'm going to go back to it, see if y'all can see it again. I don't know. And if you guys can get a better picture of anybody else out there, because I don't know what he is carving on. Or what he's creating here. It's weird. But yeah, guys. Let's see.
So much to
Woodrow
look
says looks like a skull. Randall's making a totem.
Interesting. I don't know, my eyeballs, I can't see nothing.
I know, and they do this stuff to us too, right? Because he's just sitting here holding carving, and I didn't even notice this till today when I was getting ready for the show, and I was going through, and I was like, what is the hell is he carving on? And I was like, is that a face? Is that an eyeball? Is that a totem head? And I was thinking, well, he's been freaking out. And then I think Boyd walks in.
Whittling?
Whittling, yeah.
Oh, I got that right?
Mm-hmm.
Look at that.
Can you see what it is, Ray? I know it's probably a horrible picture to tell.
I wouldn't say no that it's not a skull. I mean, it looks like 2 eyes and a nose below that.
I don't know what the hell it is. Who knows? I know, because it's like right after this, Boyd walks up and is like, hey, are you okay? You've been the other day with the goat, and everybody's been questioning what he may know from the cicadas. So I don't know.
Like, what was Randall going to, I'm sorry, what was he going to do with that goat? Was he going to keep it on the bus? Like, what was he going to do with the goat?
Yeah, Wild Majorum, Randall's Arts and Crafts. got everything he needs on the bus. But yes, it is getting late, and we were supposed to end already. I keep getting caught up in so many good things to talk about on the show, but we'll save some for another night. Save a little bit of meat on that bone.
Yes. But thank you very much, Ravener, as always, for being our steady panel guest. And we love that you come and hang out with us and talk with us. And you are like amazing for me and Scarlett. And
you are the Dark Lord, and you are my nemesis in D&D.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, man. It's good to get on here with people that take it seriously and have different perspectives, different angles. And like I said, we always say this, we're all watching the same 47 minutes, but we're all walking away with something completely different. So it's definitely cool to hear. And good meeting you, Spade. It's been a pleasure tonight. Just tossing these ideas, kind of working them out. That's what I do on Jeremy's show. Like I'll talk myself out of a theory as I'm going. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, like what I've been talking about the last 47 minutes. Just forget about that.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense now.
Happens to the best of us.
But yes, and again, thank you very much, Spade. Come check out his channel, Parkland Media. It's an awesome channel filled with awesome From theories, and you have changed my mind about a lot of things tonight.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank you, Scarlett. Thank you, Dana. Thank you, Lord Ravener, for having me. Thank you, everybody else who came on the panel. I think it was also Reels and there's a movie blog. Yeah, Anthony. Yeah, thank you, everybody in the chat. I got to run. Thanks for having me. I look forward to coming back soon.
Yes.
All right, man, have a good night, and thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Anytime.
Pleasure.
Thank you.
But yeah, guys,
he was a good addition.
Yes, no, these streams have been very enjoyable. I'm so grateful to all the streamers who have participated with us, and I know we have some more lined up for next week, and we'll try to continue to have these as much as we can, as long as we can, and we just this is fun, right, Dave? I mean, this is a good roundtable discussion.
Yes, I'm hopeful that we have Fate Decided coming on next Monday. I am working with Fromland to get him on at some point. The PT channel wants to come and join us. I've been talking to the Watchers on the Wall. So there's a bunch of other From creators and you guys have been sending me videos of other From creators that you guys want to see on the panel. So please keep doing that because it brings me to new creators and stuff who put out From content. So anybody you want to maybe see with us on the panel, feel free to message me a link to their channel, and I will certainly do my best to reach out and make that happen. And it's been a lot of fun. I've met a lot of other content creators for this, and I hope that this is just a place that everybody could come together, share their ideas, share their theories, see what other people think about the show, and just have a place that we could come together.
And again, guys, join us Wednesday night at 9 Eastern. We will continue to make our Fromville song. Again, the winner was The Boyd Is Back in Town. So start thinking of them lyrics, guys, because when we come back on Wednesday, we will be getting ready to put a song together.
That's it. You kick Crazy Matt out of here. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with him.
Well, y'all will have your time. Look, the lasagna wars will continue. They have been waging for a lifetime.
Ravener, when he comes back to D&D, it's your job to decimate him.
And they will continue on. We will have an updated story at some point, perhaps a debate. Who knows, on the Great Lasagna Wars. It's still going on. But yeah, guys, thanks a lot for joining us again tonight, and we will see you all on Wednesday night for some Fromville songwriting. But until then,
tomorrow night on Jeremy's, he's going out Ravener tomorrow night.
Tuesday night. That's right, Tuesday night. Go join Jeremy Ice and Fire along with Lord Ravener as they continue to discuss From and all of its mysteries. And whose Wednesday night is Real Enigma, I believe, goes Wednesday night.
Wednesday at 3:30. He's in the afternoon.
Afternoons. Thank you. Afternoon. So yes, go check out Real and all all the content creators, guys. There's just a lineup all week long of Fromville events. But until then, keep them talismans up, guys. Stay safe. And we will see you all on the next one, guys. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Paint me a scene, city in color, the way that you see, the way you see it. Don't you wish that I could give you, I could give you everything. 1, 2, 3, and my heart is racing.